turn on the ground power.
Copy.
Chief, connect ground air supply.
Copy. Ground power is now on. Ground air supply is now connected.
Wilco. ICS comm check. Roger. Closing canopy. Check. Okay, ready to start.
Napa traffic UC21 will stop runway clear.
Hey Tony, thanks for the raid.
Hello, Rabbit Leader.
Just starting up, we're back to the usual Georgia war weather. Absolutely shithouse.
Uzi 11,
That's a bit loud.
lighting up, runway 22.
Turn that down a little. But yeah, nice, lovely, shitty grey clouds. I've got my light working again, finally. I may or may not have the electricians appear at the front door during the stream. I think they might come back tomorrow, but I'm not sure. Surely they would have knocked off by now. I have never known a tradie to work later than 5 PM. In fact, I've never known most tradies to work later than 3, and I don't blame them. Okay. Displays. I know, it is a nice shirt, isn't it nuts? If only they could actually win another Stanley Cup, that would be nice, but oh well. We got 5 of the things already. I suppose we've got to give the other teams a bit of a chance. Okay. Get the other engine going. Jester's probably going to want to know what alignment to do. Oh, no, apparently not. Probably hasn't started yet. Okay, that's sorted. And I think that is the front pit taken care of. Come on, Prey. I've got to represent my hometown. I know I don't sound like I'm from Edmonton anymore, but... You know they took away our City of Champions sign? Last time I went home, last May, it was gone. It was the first... Well, second thing I noticed. The first thing I noticed was that, Fucking Leduc and Nisku are massive now, and the second thing I noticed was that the City of Champions sign is gone. I wonder why. Have a good one at work, Tawny. And, yeah, I'll probably see you tomorrow. Ah, from Victoria, I see. Yeah, we stopped off on the way home at, well, we stopped off at Vancouver, but we were staying out with some friends out at Gibson's. Fuck, that part of the world is beautiful. Their place overlooks, there's a sawmill further downstream from them, and there's just this massive fucking snow-capped mountain right, like, in front of their, or behind their house that they look out over. And you just watch the barges and the tugboats going back and forth with fresh loads of logs. It was just incredible. Beautiful, beautiful area to live in. Okay, now we tell him we want to find alignment.
Roger.
And, so I don't forget to do it as I usually do, let's get rid of the ground power and the air.
Chief, disconnect ground air supply.
Ground power is now off. Copy. Ground air supply is now disconnected.
Now, I should be in the same aircraft I was in yesterday, so yep, I spawned right near the end of the runway. Nice and convenient. But this weather is going to be a real shit to deal with. As I found out the other day, DCS has basically 2 weather modes you'll come across in multiplayer. I have seen dynamic weather briefly working, but usually it's either almost totally clear or it's this, which is totally overcast and about, let me just do the maths, about 7,000 or 8,000 feet of cloud. So that's nice and fun to try and fly in, of course. Okay, once he's done that alignment, I'm going to want him to switch the radio over to AWACS.
Okay.
The RWR on this is so sensitive. I also get the impression the RWR probably shouldn't work from inside a hardened, earth-reinforced blast pen, but that might just be me. I'm fairly sure that would include the radar signal. I like the crappy weather everyone plays in bright sunny skies. Yeah, I mean, it has its place, but it does get a bit tiresome, because probably about 60 or 70% of the time I'm on Georgia at war, the weather is like this. It's just, I like overcast, but I don't like it to be this badly overcast. A good mix is nice. Or, you know, some nice stormy weather where you've got some variation in the height of the clouds. This is just a single thick layer of uniform cloud, which is kind of boring. Some broken thunderheads would be awesome. Okay, we are aligned. And any second now, Jester should tell me we're good to go. Falcon 4 was notorious for shit weather. Yep, I remember. There was a lot of shitty weather in that game. I spent a large portion of my alleged homework time as a 11-year-old actually playing Falcon 4 instead.
Ready to taxi.
Right, now he's good to go, so parking brake off. Just make sure everything else is set. Nozzle steering is on. And upper traffic, Circus 14 taxis runway 22 for southwest departure and upper. Oh, an A10. So I want to go right here and just follow that taxiway. Gets me right on the end of 2-2. And because of the specific type of jankiness I get with my rudder pedals, right turns are better for me than left, because I have more sensitivity in the right pedal than the left pedal. For some reason, I have yet to work it out. I've tried to change it with dead... Like, you can see there, I can barely turn left. I've tried to fix this with dead zones. I've tried to do just about everything you could think of. It has not fixed it. So that's part of the reason I want to get some new rudder pedals. These are actually fairly new. I've only had them for probably about a year, I think. A year or 2 years or something, and I haven't used them very much because you have to remember as well, for most of that time, I didn't have any way of plugging my entire HOTAS setup in because I just didn't have enough USB ports. I'm running them all through a little powered hub at the moment. So yeah, I had all this stuff sitting around, I just wasn't using it. But these pedals work, but they're not really great. I don't know if it's just a specific, like an issue specific to this set of pedals, like something's wrong with them and maybe I should send them back, or if it's just a general attribute of these pedals that they're a bit janky. They are relatively inexpensive and designed to be more for driving than flying, I think, so it's probably just something I'm going to have to suck it up with for a bit. Clean them, I suppose. I had a couple of theories as to why they were playing up. I thought maybe the cable was catching and actually physically restricting the movement of the pedal, which is not the case, although it does get caught in there occasionally. Like, in terms of actual movement, they move totally unrestricted. It's just that it doesn't register as strongly on the left. And I can't imagine they would have got, like, the sensor would have got dirty or anything, because I haven't had them that long. And I don't know how anything would have got in there, but maybe. I might have to pull them apart and do some fiddling. Oh, shit, I shouldn't be pulling onto that. Whoops. Okay. Wings. Someone on the runway. Su-25. Very smoky Su-25. And if his takeoff run had been much longer, I would have paid dearly for my mistake of not paying attention to where the hold line was on the runway. An upper excuse me, an upper traffic circus 14. Entering, lining up, and rolling 22 for southwest departure, and upper. Coughing over the radio, that's some professional conduct right there. I actually think it feels like it's less sensitive today than it usually is, so something is definitely fucking with me here. Come on. With gun mode, do you fight with norm or the bottom option, bore sight, fixed gun cross? I just fight with the normal one. In the MiG-21, I found that the gyro sight is really twitchy and usually lags badly enough that I'm better off using the fixed sight and just calculating the lead myself. In the Tomcat, I haven't had any such issues. The gun sight in this seems to be pretty much on. Jesus, it's sensitive on the right pedal. Okay. Whatever, we'll lined up well enough.
Man, the CO will bust their balls for that. We have, I hope, yeah, that's a friendly 2-ship, Bra, 100, 1 mile. And a friendly, Bra, 200, 15 miles. Angels 14. And a friendly, Bra, 160, 24 miles. Angels 18. Traffic E3, 8 o'clock high, 10 miles. Nails, 8 o'clock. There is a friendly Bra, 160, 50 miles.
And upper traffic surface 14, clear all runways and departing to the southwest. Checking out, pushing 253 and up.
Friendly 3-ship, Bra, 035, 3 miles.
That was a bit of a freeze, but okay, we seem fine. Georgia at war, yeah.
Overlord, 461. Request bogey dope.
Only 2 to 3 hours in the kitty. Yeah, I've been flying this pretty much, not exclusively, but close to it since it came
11
out.
miles.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's such a fun aircraft. It's really a handful, but in a good way. Thanks for the follow.
Friendly,
Mike.
Stratobladder, 10 o'clock, 12 miles.
But yeah, she's a fun aircraft. Lots of
there's a friendly,
interesting little quirks to keep on your
32
toes.
miles.
Which is
Angels
why
18.
I really like these older aircraft, compared to the Gen 4s and so on. I'd much rather have an aircraft that's challenging to fly, as opposed to one that's challenging to manage a computer, while the aircraft basically flies itself, if that makes sense. Okay, I should actually start paying attention to what Jest is telling me now.
Overlord, 461. Request bogey dope.
There is a friendly 095, 77 miles, Angels 30. Oh, I'm showing Nails 11 o'clock, and Nails 12 o'clock. Okay, we're on.
I think he's locking a friendly there.
Overlord, 461. Request bogey dope.
Friendly F-18, 12 o'clock, 3 miles.
Beepski is my bot, my chat bot. Like the F5 module, it's simple for me to get into, like the aggressor aircraft and trainers. Yeah, the F5 seems like a bucket of fun. I don't have it, I haven't flown it yet, but from watching it, people fly it both against players and just single player stuff, it looks like a really fun, versatile little plane. And it's certainly a handful to fight against, I can tell you that much. That's alright, I think you're like the second or third person that's fallen for that, Mike. Okay, we've got a bunch of friendlies off the nose still.
Overlord, Ford 6-1. Request bogey dope.
Why is it named Beepski? Because I couldn't really think of a name. I didn't just want to go with Rossbot or something. So I figured I'd call it that, because my PC is named Beepski as well. I don't know, I just find it amusing on some level, I guess. I used to play a bit of Space Station 13, so that's where I got it from. Officer Beepski. Okay, let's trim this HUD out. And the VDI while we're at it. If I can actually see it against the clouds. Okay, that looks about good. There we go.
Overlord, Ford 6-1. Request bogey dope.
Anybody F-18 Angels 26.
I see the AWACS has decided not to speak to me again today. Must have done something to piss him off. This is the second day in a row. Oh, here we go. I like to just pre-arm those two switches.
11 o'clock. And nails, 12 o'clock.
So
We have a Bandit 2-ship, Bra, 080, 85 miles.
Go get my iPad for the manual. Yeah, you'll probably want that for the back seat. It seems very, very complex. Is that range 84, I think? Did I play any Microprose F-14 Fleet Defender? No, I didn't. That was a touch before my time. I didn't really get into gaming until I was about 10 years old was when I first started playing Sims. My uncle gave me his old joystick and Combat Flight Simulator 2. And shortly afterwards, my parents bought me a 4-pack, which was Falcon 4, EF-2000, F-22 Total Air War, and European Air War. So, I was kind of late to get into the whole gaming thing, but when I did, the first thing I got into were combat flight simulators. Yeah, no, it's definitely my
I've got nails, 11 o'clock.
If you actually go to his channel as well, you'll see his avatar is the same as mine, just with like laser eyes. Which doesn't work out as well on Twitch, but on the Discord it kind of gives you a clue as to what he is. I've got my ICS on hot mic, so you should be able to hear me. And I'm not sure if that'll work on the back seat, because we had some issues the last couple of days getting me to hear the Rio. I think the most success was when Rio was on cold mic. Okay, we got a whole clusterfuck of enemy to our front. Do you want to just lock them up, or not lock them up even, just TWS them one at a time and pop a Phoenix at each? I'll give you control of that. Yeah, so I didn't play Fleet Defender. I do remember reading reviews of it back when I lived in the UK. We used to go to every air show that was on. And, of course, the air shows that have their, like, magazines with the program of the show, all the sponsors and so on, and all the different articles on aircraft that were appearing there. And I remember reading through reviews of Fleet Defender in that from, like, would have been one of the last air shows, I think, before we moved to Australia. So I always kind of wanted to play it, but I never ended up getting it. I have watched some videos on YouTube, though. Can you actually hear me over SRS, Master? Loading, fair enough. So, this is my cheat for trimming the aircraft for straight and level flight. Just put it in autopilot, then take the autopilot off. Because it will retain the trim setting that the autopilot gives you. There is a whole mess of shit off our nose when you do load in. Just engage autopilot fully. Yeah, I could. If that was you trying to talk, I heard the mic go, but I didn't hear anything. Like, I heard the key up sound.
Man, what I wouldn't give to have those rockets countermeasures.
Oh, that was someone else, I guess. Oh, it's getting a bit spooky. Yeah, it is pretty impressive. A lot of old flight sims like that are kind of similar. Like, I don't know where he got it, but Dad got me a copy of Warbirds 2.0, and I never played it online because I didn't even have internet back then, but I just play it offline. And, like, looking back at it now, holy shit, that game looks so dated, it's unbelievable. It looks like it doesn't look like a 3D game, it looks like it was drawn in MS Paint, but I thought that was amazing at the time. Right. The problem is, I'm not sure if my PLM's going to work while you're still loading in. I hope it is. Oh, yes it is, thank God. What am I locked on? Is that enemy? I'm going to assume it probably is. I don't think I've got any friendlies off my nose. Oh shit, I do have a friendly off my nose. Can't tell who's who in that mix. Kanto, are you the lead or trailing aircraft? My Rio is still loading in. Okay, here's the trail. Because that's his Sparrow going. Looks like he's missed it. It's his kill, so I'll let him take it if he can get the shot. Fuck it. I don't even know if that's tracking. And up into the clouds again. This is what I hate about this weather. It doesn't affect the AI, it sure as hell affects you. And I've lost him. Right, we're going back upstairs. Something low on my left, what's that? There he is! Please stay above the clouds this time, Mr. Su-27. Probably won't. I can't see my HUD. I can't afford to play with him at this kind of close range. He'll just end up on my tail and I'll be in deep shit. Let's see if the red filter works better against the clouds. I think it will. Did I just lose my HUD? Yes, I did. Oh no, I didn't. It's still there, it's just... I can't see either against the clouds. God damn it. Custom helmet? Oh, nuts, haven't you seen this skin? Driven sent me this. Hang on. You can't hear me over intercom. Oh, I'm a genius. I had it set to the wrong fucking mic setting. You got me now? Check my SRS, hang on. You got me now? Weird. I'll try reconnecting to SRS myself.
829, with you guys on 253.
Alright, how about now? Just out of curiosity, how many how many air-to-air missions are in this game? As many as you want. There's a lot of community-made ones, there's several that come with the modules, and then there's, of course, multiplayer. So really, I suppose the technical answer is an infinite amount, really. As many as you can find, or as many as you want to make. Still gonna... What the fuck? Oh, how about now? I think I may have had it switched into the wrong mode by accident. I've got my ICS on hot mic. It should automatically transmit no matter what I'm doing. Because I don't think it should be... You shouldn't need to press both hotkeys. I don't think the SRS hotkeys even function in the F-14. You have to use the in-game ones. Yeah, I answered it. Basically an infinite number, so as many as you can make or find, pretty much. Each module ships with some missions, and then the community just makes basically the rest. You've also got multiplayer, so there's pretty much an unlimited array of air-to-air missions. What joystick is the one you want for Su-27? The T50 from Virpil. It's basically an Su-27 stick. Much like the Thrustmaster Warthog is a copy of the A10 stick, the T50 is a copy of the Su-27 stick, I believe, or the MiG-29 stick. They're both the same. Do you want a custom helmet? I'm going to make my own F-14 skin with helmets as soon as the paint kit comes out. I'm just waiting on the paint kit, and then I'm going to be straight into it. I'm still working on some for my Spitfire as well. I think the fight's behind us. Where are we even going? I got distracted trying to figure out what's up with the ICS. We're heading in a safe direction, at least. Comms check.
Roger, 5x5 on 253.
Jeez. It's not the, holding down my ICS hotkey and then the SRS hotkey doesn't work. So, I don't know. Yeah, you can do skins now, but I prefer to have the paint kit because it gives me more options what I can do with layering and things like that. And it's less work. People are saying in chat to use ICS key. I know they are, Master, but literally yesterday I was using just the switch up front in hot mic and it was working fine. I think there's something you've got to do in your pit, but I don't know where because I haven't been in your pit. But I'm set, or check the volume actually, because I'm set to hot mic in my pit, so it should automatically pick up what I'm saying. You should be able to hear me. So nice having the range of this thing, because up until this came out in Georgia War I'd been flying the MiG-29, and the MiG-29 is a brilliant aircraft, but man, that thing is short-legged. If I wanted to say, alright, say a raid was coming in from the direction of Batumi, somewhere in there, Batumi or Kutaisi or one of those airfields, and we were stationed up at my cop, I would have to do a hop from my cop to Gudauda or to Sukumi to refuel and rearm, and then go and intercept. Like, I'd have to do 2 or 3 hops per intercept because all the spawns were at my cop for the MiG-29. Excuse me. And all the Su-27s are donator slots, so yikes. Really don't know why this ICS is not working properly. It should be set up, it should be going fine. Volume's turned up. How do I feel about F-14 versus Sukhois? It depends. At long range, like long range, the F-14's in with a good chance. At close range, the F-14 is in deep shit. Like, really anything at close range is in deep shit against an Su-27. You just cannot maneuver with them at all. And then when you combine that with the Su-27's much better visibility out the cockpit and its helmet-mounted sight, you're in trouble. You're in real big trouble. The F-14 is not really on the same level as a Gen 4 aircraft. It's a very capable aircraft, and it has some things that it does far better than the Gen 4 aircraft, but it is not a Gen 4 aircraft, and it's really noticeable when you come up against one. They will just eat you for breakfast. Once you're out of Phoenixes, or you're too close... I mean, there's no such thing as too close to effectively use them because of the ACM switch, but it's just not a good idea to get close. The Tomcat, at its core, is not a dogfighter. It's basically just a giant bus intended to get a bunch of missiles far enough away from the fleet to stand off some bombers. It can dogfight, kind of by accident, but that's not what it's intended to do. And although you don't notice it so much in its own era, you really notice it against modern aircraft. It's just not designed to do the same thing. I'm hearing the transmission pop when I switch into hot mic, so this is working on my end, and my SRS has a green light, so I don't know what's going on back here. For what it's worth, my last two Rios were able to get this to work, but it did take some fiddling around, usually to get me to hear them, not the other way around. So there are some weird issues with SRS and the F-14 still. And you're definitely on the right server? That's weird. That is really weird. Got no warning lights, it should be working. Check the volume, maybe. Alright, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll hook us around in a turn here, and then we'll just jump in Discord. That'll probably fix it. Not an ideal solution, but at least it should work.
Overlord, Ford 6-1. Request bogey dope.
Bro, I've seen Top Gun. I know you have, nuts. I would expect you've seen Top Gun at least about 50 times, but I don't know if you've read much into the history of the Fleet Defender concept, but the aircraft that was originally intended for the role, even before the F-111 came on scene, that was definitely a bus. It was like a upscaled A3. Or was it A3D, I think? Yeah, A3D. Just a giant, straight-winged, old-school box fuselage twin jet. Straight out of the fucking early 50s. And that was supposed to carry 6 Phoenixes just under the wing on pylons. And that got scrapped. And the F-111 came into being, and McNamara decided in all his wisdom that the F-111 was a magical do-everything plane, and it could fly from carriers, which of course, I mean, they tested it, could fly from carriers, not well though. So then the Air Force kept it on, the Navy told the Department of Defense to fuck off and give them their own plane, and that's how the F-14 came to be. So, as might be expected with most military equipment, some very complex Genesis stories there. And yet another example of McNamara's fucking 500 IQ ideas. Mr. We can tell if we're winning a war by the body count. Alright, I will level us off here. Whoop, a little bit of overcompensation there. What the fuck? What the fuck? How did that happen? Did you turn the master arm off from the back seat, you little shit? Fuck you, that stays on. Always, always weapons hot. Motherfucker! You leave my master arm alone. Right, just jump in Discord.
Oh
Hey!
God, I can't figure it out.
Hang on, I gotta... There we go. Let's turn voice activity back on. Yeah, I don't know, it was working fine yesterday, but, you know, such is life.
I knew. I literally I tried turning hot mic on, override mic.
Yeah, I think Justin said yesterday that he couldn't get hot mic to work in the backseat. He had to use cold while I was on hot.
Originally I was on cold, like I'm transmitting now.
Yeah, it's weird. It was working perfectly fine 24 hours ago.
I know, I was watching the stream, it irritates me. First time in the real multiplayer, it doesn't
Also,
want to work.
will you stop motherfucking safing my weapons?
Okay, I didn't disarm
This
your
is my
ejection seat in
safety.
that dogfight.
Oh, you don't need to. I usually forget to arm it in the first place.
My lord, you're lucky you have. Dude, it took me like a solid 2 minutes. Like, so the way you increase the loading times in the Tomcat is you delete all the Jester audio files. So I don't actually have Jester audio files.
Good job.
Yeah, it was an experience. I'm still looking around this thing.
How much time have you got in the back seat so far?
About an hour.
That's more than me. That is an hour more than me.
I have a couple of things blinded. Don't ask me to use the lantern pod.
Oh, ground attack? You think we're doing ground attack here? Boy?
Fine by me.
What the fuck?
Fine by me.
Overlord, 461.
I've done like
Bogey dope.
2 ground attack flights in DCS in total, both in the MiG-21.
I love the Grom. I'm gonna go grab my iPad so I can pull up the manual on
Yeah.
a bigger screen. I will
Good
be
idea.
right back.
Very good idea. Just gonna turn my Oxy off now. That's the other thing I usually forget to put on, so by all means, you'll probably actually turn it on. Oxygen, seat, and hoses and plugs from the ground crew are the 3 things I always forget. EF-111 would be really nice. Any F-111 variant would be really nice, but the EF-111 would be interesting. Actually having a player-flown, player-manned EW aircraft would be really something. Either the Raven or the Prowler. The Prowler would be really interesting, actually, since that's a 4-seater. I think the Raven's still only a 2-seater. I'm fairly sure.
Raven's a 2-seater. You know, I was watching that whole dogfight and I was like, I can't tell him where he is. I can see him perfectly. Thankfully, Jester got all this shit started up because I couldn't figure out how to get my DDI to work properly last time. The DDD, I only know how to work the VDI.
Yeah. Although, interestingly enough, so we found out last night, I don't know if you were still watching at that point, but we found out last night that if the Rio drops, because Justin's game crashed on him...
You don't get Jester back, yeah?
Not only do you not get Jester back, it bugs out the back seat. So, one of my viewers popped in to fly as my Rio to sub in for Justin, and when he got in, he found that he couldn't do anything with the radar, and the fuel quantity was frozen on 2,000 pounds, so he started freaking out about that. And it was fun, like, I leant over so he could look over my shoulder at my fuel quantity, and he said, oh yeah, yours is fine. So it actually bugged out the rear pit while the front was okay. And I didn't have my PLM either, so I had literally no use out of the radar other than to see where things were. It's like I was flying a giant MiG-19.
Oh my lord. How do I, deploy the flares and chaff in this thing?
I think it's automatic. Like, I think they're programmed automatically, because anytime a SAM fires anywhere near us, the RWR will start wigging out, and you'll just hear the chaff go automatically.
Oh, that's good.
Which has led to a few panicked moments when a fucking Patriot has fired, like, 50 miles away, and I've thought that somebody just shot at me.
Thank goodness this thing has red floodlights. I love the red lights way better. Hashtag Mirage MiG-21 game. Okay, manual.
I actually forgot to ask Driven while I had him in Tawny's chat. I'm wondering if the reason that you click the center of the VDI screen to swap colors is because it's an actual physical filter that slots in, because it looks kind of like it is from, like, around the edge of the screen. And that does sound like a very 70s way of doing things.
Yeah. Here, let me... I just pushed the master caution button for you. It was blinking on my end. Because I could just reach over your shoulder.
I do like that you can do that, so you can prank your pilot. And I think I can turn your oxygen off if I actually knew where the switch was. 047? Is that seriously the closest? Oh well. Lean over your shoulder so we can say hi to your Rio. Hello.
Hello there.
Mountains on the nose.
Visual. What's that spiking us? 29 and 31 direct front. Let's switch the radar.
My money on the 29 is it's actually a 27. They both use the same radar, yeah. So most 29 callouts are going to be Su-27s, especially at long range.
It's true.
Which is not a good thing, because the Su-27 is considerably more dangerous.
Yeah, that is very true. I've got 2 friendlies, 3 friendlies.
I'm just going to turn the Sidewinder cool off. Remind me to turn that back on when we get into a fight.
Got it. Alright, I've got visual on the target. Let's set this to TID cursor.
Oh yeah, I see on the repeater.
On up.
What did the X56? I hope for your sake that Logitech have fixed the QC issues that Cytec used to have. Cytec made good sticks when they worked, but when they broke in spectacular fashion. So I had an X52 Pro, and when that broke, let me relate to you what this joystick did to my computer. When I had it plugged in, it worked fine as a joystick. There was nothing wrong with it as a joystick. But after it had been plugged in, I could not shut my computer down. I had to hard reset it. And until I did hard reset it, none of my browsers, so not Firefox, not Internet Explorer, not Chrome, not any of the, like, not Steam, which is derived from Chrome, none of them could connect to the internet. However, games could still connect to the internet, and things like Skype or Steam Chat could still connect to the internet. And it was my joystick, because as soon as I stopped using that joystick, that problem went away. And it only came when I plugged the joystick in, which is why for several years I did not play any flight sims.
Oh my lord, where's the friendly hide on this thing?
Oh, that is a mess of shit coming our way. I'm gonna guess those 2 ships are all enemy.
I believe so.
Because I don't think I've seen a 2-ship on Georgia at war for at least a fair while.
How do I turn off the friends on the DDI? Oh, we're gonna die horribly.
It's fine. You can always just turn and run. That's what's great about Amazon. If it sucks, just return it and get A10 HOTAS. Yeah, pretty much.
Now it's 29. Like,
Your main issue there is that if it's going to break, it's not going to do it right away. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 years down the line. Yep, I see him right off the nose. What range is that? Oh, I'm in the wrong fucking HUD mode.
that's a great question.
500 IQ.
How do I lock shit? Oh, that's
Launch.
not good.
I don't see a trail though. That might be someone else.
I just lost them off TWS.
Because they don't have smokeless. Okay, we got a 2-ship straight on our nose. Hot, followed by a second 2-ship. If you can lock up...
I don't know how to lock them up.
Oh god. Do I need to turn around?
No, it's fine. Okay, something's locked up. Oh, it unlocked.
Oh, that might have been my fault. I went to PLM.
Here, hold on. Let me switch this into DDD cursor. And it's not responding.
They're getting a bit close. I'm just saying.
Can I lock them up on the VDI and then get it like that?
Yeah, go. Oh, you missed him.
Work.
You missed him.
I'm trying.
Hook him with
It's
it.
too sensitive.
Oh god. There you go. There you go. You got one.
He's locked.
Okay. And now, so it's still in TWS, so go to PDSTT, and I should actually see him on my HUD.
It's not switching to PDSTT, I'm jamming the button.
Alright, you know what? Fuck it. Circus 1-4, Fox 3 long.
Oh my god.
Yep. Oh, that's not that long. He's pretty close, actually.
Crap, he unhooked, I think. Give me a second.
Ah! Okay.
Alright, you fired at something.
Yep. See if you can hook the other guy with him.
Got it. 3, 2, 1. X. Got an X. What does an X mean? Go evasive.
Oh shit, I got a dot off the nose.
Put it into VLS.
Splash
What are
one.
you doing? Let me know when you want it to go into VSL so you can get the vertical scan mode. I know how to do that. We've got a
Circus
friendly
1-4,
mixed in.
splash one. Yeah, we got a friendly, fuck. He's going straight out towards that other guy. I don't know where the second went. I also don't know where that Phoenix went, which is slightly concerning.
Got something hooked.
That's an enemy. But there's friendly in there, so I don't really want to blast the Phoenix.
Missile launch 31.
That's... shit. I think those are Sam's. I can't tell. I don't see any trails. But you know what, just in case.
Oh my, that.
Oh, that was
Oh my,
at us.
Yep, that we are hit. We are hit. Oh no, we're gonna have to
okay.
start the plane up.
Didn't want those engines anyway. What are you ejecting for? Bruh! We were fine!
Well?
We were fine! I could have landed that!
Wait, did they kick you out as well?
Yeah, yeah. When
Oh,
one of
I should've
us
dismounted.
punches out, we both go.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've seen videos where only one person goes.
I think you can do that, but I think it's a switch somewhere in your pit.
I think my game just... Oh, that's loud.
I'm not sure what we actually got. We got something, I just don't know what. They were really close.
31.
They were really, really close by the time we popped. Like, right off the fucking nose. I could see the speck, and then I saw him just disintegrate. He was diving for the fucking ground real hard.
Oh, did it put me back in your plane? I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, did you press F2 and then F1 again? And end up back in the pit? Ah, weird. I'm back in the same aircraft, so...
Okay, my game's having like an aneurysm right now. Briefing.
The fucking strobe on the A10 is so bright, it's like quantum tunneling through the fucking blast pen he spawned in.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And flashing my cockpit. Good shit.
Alright. Your ejection seat is armed, because I'm a good person.
Okay, I'll tell you when we have the engines running.
Dope. Please tell me they use automatic stored heading on the server.
I don't think so.
What are you cranking up there? I don't know half of what I'm doing back here, by the way.
What am I doing up here? That is us getting refueled because we're like 98% fuel for some reason.
Ground air supply.
Okay. Let me just check and make sure they gave us all our missiles. The ground crew on Georgia at war sometimes glitch out and don't give you what you ask for.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, there goes the fuel tanks. Yep, we should be good. Wait, did I get the right skin? No, I didn't. Motherfucker.
Rearming complete.
It's not the Diamondback 2000 skin, I don't want to talk. Why is my camera saying I don't have any visibility over there?
Ground air
What's
supply
wrong
is
with my
now
tracking?
connected.
Request rearming.
Okay, we got power in there, so you can start doing stuff back there. Okay, that's on. Bro, just
fine.
Just read the manual. How do you feel about F-15C versus Su-27? I haven't flown the F-15C. I haven't actually interacted with them much at all. But that is a much more even fight than the Tomcat against the Su-27. They're both very, very good aircraft.
Easy win.
Not necessarily. If it's a good flanker pilot, like if it's one of the fucking, was it the 58th guys? 50-something guys? 51st? I don't fucking know.
Oh, I'm talking about the flanker.
Easy. Yeah. If the flanker pilot knows what he's doing. If it's against me in the flanker, then the F-15, because I'm fucking hopeless.
I'm waiting for my screen to turn on back here.
Yep. I'm just running through the instrument tests and shit.
Is it still doing that thing where even though it's set to the long version, I still have to hold whatever game?
And chat's moved on a bit, but to go back to the EW aircraft, yeah, a lot of it's still classified, excuse me, but they could abstract it. Like, as it is, jamming is abstracted in DCS. They only range gate you. That's basically all the jammers do. So it's kind of simplified, and they could kind of make a simplified model for electronic warfare.
A conversation today in Blue Flag with the DePauli shop developer about classified things. Half of the Blue Flag community got into an argument with the developer of the Gazelle about the Mistral.
Oh boy.
It was really ugly. Alright, this screen still hasn't turned on. What the hell?
I'm still only running one engine at the moment. It might come on with two. Hang on.
Hold on, there it goes. Oh no, it does have automatic stored heading.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, how do I do it? Oh, okay, it started. Don't I have to put in the numbers?
Is Discord a good place for a new guy like me to find people to show me the ropes, or should I be experienced? Oh, by all means, it's my Discord. Like, if I'm running the Discord, you know it's full of people that have no fucking clue what they're doing and need to learn as well. So, yeah, there's a couple people in there who know what they're doing, and then there's the rest of us who are just clueless and slam our heads into the wall until it stops hurting.
If it has automatic stored heading, do I actually need to put in our coordinates?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how the alignment works at all, to be honest. I only do front seat shit. That's your problem, my friend.
My lord. Alright, let's try this. Latitude 4.
Oh, that's what I forgot. TACAN.
I need to get a link. Longitude. NE.
Yeah, classified stuff and the French, good luck. Good fucking luck.
Enter the Mistral argument.
Yeah. The French will keep something classified long after it has been committed to the fucking annals of history, just out of spite for everyone else on Earth. Like, I do love the French, but they are absolutely singular.
Let's turn this data link on, boys.
Similar things can be said about French engineering, whereupon the engineers go completely out of their way to make things as difficult for foreigners as they possibly can.
Agreed.
And the French military uses things that are French just because it's French. Doesn't matter if it actually works or not.
So it says our alignment is complete. It's been the time allotted. It's been about
Okay. There should be, I think there's a button or a switch or something you punch in the back to forward that through to my VDI and HSD, because they're still showing the unaligned screens. But I see what you mean. It looks like the little carries over the 100% marker.
I'm gonna find that button.
Oh, there we go. Radal just woke up.
Do you see the screen now? Oh wait, that's the record switch. That's the no fucking switch.
It might be an automatic thing after a while. I'm not sure, because it, tapes. That's the thing I love about this aircraft. Every time the Rio fucks around with his TID and changes the display on it, if you change your TID to the fucking TCS display, it blacks mine out.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
If you switch it between modes, there's about a 2 or 3 second delay as the aircraft switches tapes in its fucking flight computer. So, like, you guys will be able to see it in chat, or in the stream. When he fucks around with his computer up back, my displays will blank out and then come back on about a second,
I think I know
1, 2, 3 seconds later. Yay, there we go. That's the one.
I had to just switch it to INS. It was still in align mode.
Yeah, that would do it.
Listing HS, MSL, Missile Con, MSL, COND, and AWG. Okay, so something's not working. That's all I've got left on my instrumentation panels.
Are you
AWG.
good to go back there? Like, am I okay to start moving the aircraft?
As far as I'm aware.
Alright, I'll just give it another minute so I can catch up on chat. Oh yeah, I remember that, the Raphael. Yeah, good luck. What are your top 5 you'd like to see in DCS? English Electric Lightning, Blackburn Buccaneer, F-111. I'm not going to count MiG-23 because that's coming. Actually, about half my list is already coming, so that's nice. So that's what, 3. This is never going to happen, but I'm going to say it anyway. Avro Vulcan. A6, Intruder, and that's 5. Oh, actually, we'll replace the Vulcan with something a bit more realistic, because I really don't think anyone is like masochistic enough to build an aircraft that complex for DCS with a 4-man crew. So we'll sub that out for the Su-15. I really want the Su-15. Or the 17. 15 or 17. One or the other. Or both. I can't do lists. You ask me for a favourite of something and I'll give you like 6 different alternatives because I can never make up my mind. Super Tucano. Wasn't somebody working on a Super Tucano, or am I getting my wires crossed?
I think Raspam mentioned it in their Discord. Could be wrong though.
Alright, I'm going to start us moving.
It's fine. I think I've got everything. We'll find out when we die in a stupid way.
Oh!
He's still... What?
Hey, what are you doing?
Ground air supply.
Chief,
No,
turn on the ground
that's-
power.
Not only that, but I managed to turn the ground power on again. Oh, hey!
I was running the test.
Yeah, so my Rio did that on me yesterday without telling me he was gonna do it. It scared the shit out of me, because I'd never seen the bit test for that before. Okay, ground air disconnect.
Disconnect ground air supply.
I feel like I really need a fucking call sign based on my tendency to drag the ground crew behind me. Because I do it every single flight in this thing. In the MiG-21 I don't, because you don't even need ground power or ground air in the 21. Oh wow, you're enthusiastic. I wasn't even going to arm that until we were off the ground.
I'm trying to figure out where the AWG-9 is.
That's our radar. That's kind of important.
It says AWG-9 COND. Quick to the manual. This is why I have an iPad. ANLQ.
Did I put out a taxi call? I don't think I did. Oh, who cares? Fuck 'em. If they don't see this thing moving along the taxiway, then I think they need their eyes checked. I should probably actually put taxi lights on as well, I guess. It's bright enough for me to see, but it's for everyone else's benefit.
I forgot this thing had a whole checklist for me. Where's the bit test in the manual?
I don't know. I haven't... Okay, so I read like 3 pages of the manual. Everything else I've learned from watching other people, or just like pressing buttons until the thing happens.
Screw it. I have the checklist up. We're gonna do a mid-taxi checklist.
Dragger is my new call sign. I can live with that.
Sure, you won't want to take it out runway 04 in Napa.
Vent airflow. Thumb wheel on. Okay, that's up to you.
That's going on my F-14 skin when it happens.
KY28 or KY58.
What are you doing back there? What do you need fucking KY for? Jesus, dude.
I'm just reading the damn thing, okay?
No FOD in the cockpit, come on. Fuck. Want F-16 in this sim? It's coming. F-16C Block 50. I believe that's... Is that ED? Well, no. Belsimtech are ED now, aren't they? They're merged. So yeah.
Nobody wanted that to happen.
Yeah, no. But it happened, so that's what's happening. I actually would have preferred to see the F4 come out first. But the F4 has been put on hold to work on expanding on the F-18 and getting the F-16 out the door. But the F-16, see, a Block 50 F-16 is basically just half an F-18. It's got one engine, but otherwise it's the same. So I would have preferred to have an older model of F-16 myself. Some of the Falcon 4 nostalgia would be nice though. Okay, wings.
We've done the alignment. I can transmit receive. I'm pretty sure you did that, so I don't have to worry about that. Transmit receive. Jammer set to standby. F master is set to. Oh my! I believe I turned that on already. Oh wait, FF Master 4 doesn't even work yet. We're in the taxiway.
Yeah. I was just getting the wings set.
App enter on.
Looks like they're using runway 4, which complicates things.
Ooh, I should do an altimeter. I should do an altimeter reset just so we know one of ours is working when this thing gets nailed.
That's fine. An upper traffic Circus 1-4 lining up and rolling 2-2 for southwest departure and upper. Su-34 would be very interesting, but only if you can get up out of your seat and go to the toilet mid-flight.
Oh,
that's a critical
Lord.
feature, it needs to be included. Sorry, I'll catch up more once I'm in the air and cruising. I'm just going to get this off the ground before someone else decides to take off. Because people on Georgia at war can be rather laissez-faire with comms. Well, I was going to say it a nicer way, but yeah, basically.
Oh, and half of them are Hornet pilots.
Oh, Oh man, some of the fucking carrier landings I saw in the F-14 the other day, all Hornet pilots, of course.
Are you using the afterburner?
Fuck yeah! Don't you fucking start with that fucking NATOP shit. I swear to God, I will kick you out of my aircraft. We will pull this bitch over, and you are getting left behind. Rules are for fucking wimps. If I didn't want all this fuel, I'd dump and burn it, just to fucking spite you.
There's a reason you finally can fly something besides the MiG-29 on your server.
An Alpha Traffic Circus 14, clear all runways departing southwest and pushing 253 and upper.
Rain. I'm not seeing anything on the VDI, and that's kind of worrisome. Azimuth, where I want it, or
you might want to turn your radio on, by the way. I kind of just realized.
Where's my radio button?
I'm not sure, but it's kind of important since your radio is the only one we can tune to 133, which is AWACS.
Word.
Just saying.
Give me just a minute. Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna hit a switch and the plane's gonna fall out of the sky.
Thankfully, I think I'm the only one that's got that much responsibility. Which is worrying when I'm the one that's trusted with that.
Oh wait, I found it. Okay, VUH. Where's the on button? Oh wait, I think we got something.
Let's see. Bigger maps and dynamic real-time campaign would be nice in this sim too. Yes, they would, but so would my computer not catching fire. And it struggles with this map as it is. I think they need to do a bit more optimizing or wait for hardware to advance a bit before they go much bigger on the maps. But I do agree bigger maps would be, like, an absolute godsend.
Just buy a new computer!
Forehead.
Eagle Dynamics is the epitome of telling people to buy new systems instead of optimizing their game.
Yeah, really.
Also, I've got my second radio on.
Okay, 133.
You're acting like I know how to tune this thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm assuming it's the same as mine. It's not that difficult. And the frequency chart on the radio is actually dynamic, so it updates based on what the circ settings are. Hey, there we go. Alright, let's see where the trade is.
Ford 6-1. Request bogey dope.
I still don't think my radar screen's working.
Ford 6-1. Pop-up group 076-480 at
Oh yeah, it's not even like giving me the ability to do a range. There's something, I understand what it meant by AW. Okay, back to the manual.
Yeah, you're still on the INS alignments. Like, it's aligned, but you're still in the INS programming screen. You may want to...
I am definitely not on the INS programming screen.
Well, you're not on the radar screen, put it that way.
This plane sucks.
Operator error. Right, motherfucker, you get out. Give me Jester back.
The ECS, Environmental Control System, should run for at least 3 minutes before avionics and AWG9. I don't even know where that is. What did you just turn on?
The air conditioning. Which I should really do in real life, because it's fucking boiling in here, but I won't.
I strongly recommend you do not fly towards the AO until I at least get...
I'm not flying directly towards it, I'm kind of beaming it. I might actually climb this up a bit further as well.
It looks like it's on, but like, it's not doing anything.
You're missing something, but fucked if I know what.
Honestly. Alright, this is the radar panel. TC radar.
I'm on the wrong...
There's nothing...
No, I'm not. I actually remembered to switch frequencies for once. I usually forget.
There's nothing else I can do on this page. What do you mean?
So you guys might be seeing an F-14 cockpit right now. Don't let that fool you. We're actually flying the MiG-19. I've just got a second one taped to the back of the aircraft. So, we're gonna do some good old-fashioned shooting people with heaters and then gunsing them.
Yeah, because I can't get the radar to work. The one thing we need, the DDI won't turn on.
Are you sure your mask's plugged into the oxygen system and not something else?
I actually made sure I turned that on. Bro, this isn't my fault. I'm about to jettison the beacon. This plane sucks. Oh wait, I think I found it. Nope. Next panel.
When am I going to stream Sukhois next? I could do some later this evening, I suppose. Well, I mean, my time, so like in an hour or two maybe, because this server is going to restart relatively soon. So I might hop over to 107th and do some Su-27 stuff while I wait. You would think that would be like the #1 thing for a Rio to learn is how to turn the fucking radar on. What are you doing? What book have you got in the back of the cockpit there?
I'm still reading. Alright, hold on, let me see. Let me just go to the radars panel. This is such a huge...
Is that Sundowners library been posted on the ED user files? Yes, it has, but it's kind of hard to find because there's no F-14 category yet, or at least there wasn't when I looked a couple days ago. But yeah, it has been. You might need to just Google it. F-14 Sundowners 200. See if it comes up.
Just so you know, also on top of the radar, our a missile thing doesn't want to turn on.
Which thing?
Oops. The missile something. I don't actually know what it means.
What's it called?
MSLCOND. Also, it still says we have low fuel. I don't think this thing's working properly. I think this might actually be the module.
I'm gonna go with a nope on that. I think it might be operator error. Yeah, our radar's not on, dude, because I haven't got PLM at all.
Okay, I'm looking, man. As long as so fast I can read.
Okay, you know what? ACM mode is on. Let's do this. You think I'm joking? I just flipped that hatch cover thing. It's up. First thing I see off the nose is going to have a really bad day, whether it's teammate or enemy.
Wait, hold on. I think I know how to fix this.
I've heard that before.
Oh my god, what's shooting at us?
Nothing. It's friendly Patriot outgoing.
I flicked every fucking button in this plane.
What did you just do? Oh, you turned the master arm off somehow. Did you press something in the back that did that, or did you just reach over my shoulder and do it?
I've been too busy in the bottom. I'm not sure. Oh my god, I'm about to turn off the RWR volume. I need to figure out what this button is. Alright, post start.
I
think I know this. Okay, select AWG/AIM9, AIM54. If AIM54 is loaded, verify that AWG con light goes off, and then auto bit 2 is running on TID. Oh, there might have been something we had to do on the ground. Look, man, I told you I was still looking through the manual, and you were like, okay, well, I'm just gonna start taxiing.
I gave you like an extra 2 minutes. You said that you thought everything was done. Alright, so do we need to land to fix this?
I'm reading that now.
Well, read faster.
I hate this.
I'll be honest with you, this is actually more fun than having a Rio that knows what he's doing, because it's funny.
Okay, I actually gotta read that. Okay, hold on.
Request bogey dope.
Chat, do you know where the WCS switch is?
I think the WCS switch is on the center console near the stick, isn't it? It's somewhere in there.
Yeah, okay, so that's on. Oh, it's in standby.
That might have something to do with it.
Well, the radar still didn't turn on.
I'm
Let's
gonna
just do a power reset.
turn us around for a minute, because we were getting a bit close to a MiG-31. I like how AWACS is responding to me like 2 full minutes after I ask him for a bogey dope. That's some good, timely response there.
The missile prep switch is up, right?
Yes, it is. It's on.
Alright.
What the Bruh!
What?
What in the actual fuck have you done to my altimeter?
What do you mean? I haven't even touched flight systems.
Or is this one of those weird things because of the way the Americans decided to design this fucking thing with one hand and then a bunch of rollers on it? 089. So
yeah, it said 089 for me as well.
Oh, hang on, no. Does that mean we're at... Yeah, no, that would be 8,800 feet, but we can't be because the cloud base is like 8,000 feet, and the cloud ceiling is about 16,000 from memory.
Man, I just want to turn the radar on. Damn it, Jabbers, where's your video?
Yeah, just bring up the tutorial video on the fucking TID screen back there. Pull out one of the weapons system tapes and put that in.
Alright, give me a second, it's a 24-minute video.
I don't think the server's going to be up for 24 minutes.
Swear to God. Skip the ad, skip the ad, come on. He better have put timestamps. Okay, he did actually. What the hell are these timestamps?
Go over once and the F-word panel function with high-level types operation mode.
How is this on?
That's actually coming across through Discord as well, by the way.
Oh my bad.
We're all getting a learning experience.
It's all bloody useless.
What's an HK? That's a Hawk, isn't it? On the RWR?
Yeah, I believe so.
Presumably it's friendly then. I don't even know where we are. Oh, yeah, it's a Hawk. It's outgoing from,
What did I just press?
I don't know. I wasn't watching. Oh, where the fuck are we going? Jesus.
This is the problem I had last time I tried to use the damn thing. They needed to make a Rio tutorial as much as I hate the tutorial system in this game.
I mean, there's a 3-hour-long Rio tutorial in Discord.
How many did that just jettison? What is it doing? What is it doing? What is it doing?
What are you doing to my plane?
We're out of flares.
What have you done? Right. Fuck it. Guess what we're doing?
We've come so far.
Look out the back.
Oh my. It's a bit extreme. It's just a radar.
I'm going to put us down in the carrier just in case you do need to be on the ground to set something up. And so we can refill the flare dispenser.
Look, man, didn't know that was the button. Okay, I saw a button that said
what,
on.
What did you do? Did you just, like, roll your face across it?
No, there's a button that's titled Flare Salvo. You can guess it.
Oh, what?
Oh, the cloud base was accurate.
We'll just edit that one out in post. That didn't happen.
I can't wait to catch the VOD.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, so here's the plan. This server's gonna restart relatively soon.
I'm gonna watch the video.
Do you want to watch the video, and I'll do some Su-27? And then, hopefully by the time Georgia War comes back up, you will have figured out how to actually turn the radar off. Oh, right now Driven shows up in chat too. He could have helped you. And yeah, I mean, Wolfpack the game has bought me a copy of it, so hopefully either tomorrow or over the weekend I'll be playing it. I did want to play it this stream, but the player base is small enough that if you play outside of American prime time, you're not really going to have very many people on. I couldn't find any servers running, so...
Yeah, I'll watch the video on Wolfpack hopefully next week, so hopefully that's something we can do. We're more learning mistakes.
It was good fun. I mean, it was a train wreck from start to finish, but it was fun.
My question, though, is the cloud level was supposed to be low. Why the hell did we hit the water? What were you doing?
No, okay, so here's the thing. They must have changed their weather settings, because every time you have full overcast on Georgia at War like that, the cloud base is at 7 to 8,000, and the cloud ceiling is at 16,000. So you heard me flipping out about the altimeter. That would probably be because we were actually at 8,800 feet, and we were above the clouds. And I was expecting that to be 16,000 feet, so I thought you'd fucked with something, or the altimeter had gone spaz or something. But that would also make sense because I was wondering why I was above the clouds so quick off the runway. I don't know as much about the radar, just to be clear. That's alright. All you need to know is where the on switch is, apparently. That would be enough.
The damn thing was on, it just wasn't working. It was doing the sweep back and forth, but it wasn't picking anything up. The VDI wasn't picking anything up. The only thing that was working was the RWR.
Well, at least we know how to release the entire supply of flares in the aircraft in one button push now.
Well, I may have actually clicked the button more than once because I thought it was like...
So when you say more than once, do you still have a functioning mouse after that?
No. So here's what happened. I clicked it, and I was like, then I read what it was, and it was salvo flare, and I was like, oh shit, and at that point I heard it dispensing. What I didn't realize is that it was a one-time flick, and then it goes back to its off system, so I clicked it again, realized that I turned it back on, thought I could click it off in time, clicked it back on again. So I ended up spamming the living hell out of the plane. Also, my game crashed.
Oh, man.
Actually,
funny story about that kind of thing. I was watching the aircrew interview episode with Jeff Gwynn, who was an F-111 pilot, and he was saying when they actually went to go on one of their first bombing raids in the Gulf, because he'd done a lot of flying on the F-111, but been all training flights, and they had this thing where to make the flare dispenser switches more easily accessible, they take like plastic tubing and stick it over the end of the switch so you could reach it over the throttle. Or was it the throttle? It was something you had to reach over. I think it was the throttle. Oh, I just lost connection to that server. Weird. I think it restarted. Yeah, so it became like a dick measuring contest between the F-111 crews, how long these plastic tubes were that you could still reach your dispenser switches. And this had the unfortunate side effect of, at night, under stress, because it was suddenly wartime, it was very easy to bump them when reaching for something else. and none of them had actually fired a flare out of the aircraft before because there was all these restrictions and it was unsafe and it might ignite early and burn the aircraft up or something. Like, they had never actually used their flares and had no experience of what it was like to release a flare from the aircraft. And so he bumped the switch when he went to reach to do something and accidentally popped a flare, and him and his Wizzo were freaking out because they thought that the engine had shit off its turbine blades and punctured the central tank and they were about to explode when all they'd done was just pop a flare. And there was another guy who was on the same mission. I think he was doing he was going for a different objective. And he had the same thing happen. He had a flare release unexpectedly, and he thought he had been hit, so he just fucking jettisoned his entire payload and turned around and fucked off home. And I would imagine there was a new call sign born out of that.
That call sign would have been 1-2 fuck up. I want the aardvark, and this game is so damn bad. Hopefully we'll get the Tornado now that it's not an active combat service.
Yeah, Tornado would be nice. I'm trying to remember what it was. I swear there was something that I'd seen that did have the Tornado in it. I remember. No, I don't know. It might have been Strike Fighters or something. I swear I was watching somebody fly the Tornado in a sim at some point. Let's see. 107th. Yeah, 107th West is down. I think it might be restarting, or it's shit the bed. There we go. It just restarted. So, I mean, do you want to watch that now and then try Tomcat again later? Or do you want to just say, fuck it, and do that, like, tomorrow or something? Come fly Su-27s. Because I would definitely not having words are hard. Definitely not mind having a wingman in the Su-27. Sniffles tonight. I think the biggest problem I have with the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft is not even, like, the lack of clickable pits is annoying, but the biggest issue I have is that I have to fucking dick around with the SRS overlay constantly, instead of just being able to set it in-game. I actually do a MiG-29S. I don't get to fly that very often, but I think I'll go with the 27. They're running a different mission than usual. Intriguing. Flying from Sanaki instead.
I just watched the video. I did every fucking thing that he just did.
Weird. Bedtime? Alright, Prey. Well, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Okay. I think they did something to the Su-27 in the last patch, because the, like, a bunch of my skins don't work anymore, and it seems you need to actually run the thing up on the ground for a couple minutes before you get flight controls as well, whereas before it would just instantly start responding. Spawn with fucking 59% fuel? Jesus.
Заправка по плану. Перезарядка по плану.
No, I did everything that they said to do.
That's weird.
So it is super thundery outside. Apparently a storm just kind of rolled up in the middle of the desert. So is most of your viewer from America?
I think I've got people from everywhere, to be honest. Hey, Rudy. How you going? Yeah, this isn't an F-14. I know exactly what you're about to say. Yeah, no, it's not, because someone couldn't work out how to get our radar to work, and then someone else flew into the ocean, because they totally underestimated how low the cloud base was. And it wasn't me, obviously.
I need to find, what is it, the right vertical panel. Okay. Rio cockpit, right? TDI.
Look, how about, maybe next time, you can just hold off on joining the aircraft until I get Jester to set it up and I'm sitting on the fucking threshold, and then you can join. So that way everything's all good and you don't have to press any buttons and you can't break anything.
Or you can run the auto start like a normal person.
Auto start?
You used it. You used it because you couldn't use the switch. I don't give a shit what the point was. Ironically, I've had this page on my iPad on my Chrome for like a week.
Okay, I'm refueled. Am I actually being rearmed? No, I'm still being refueled. Just Su-27 things.
Indicator. Where the what is my iPad doing? It just scrolled down like 50,000 pages. Just left vertical. Where the hell is the... Oh, actually, let's read that. Hold on.
I don't know if you were in Tawny's chat earlier, before I started streaming, where Dryden was recounting his experiences of sitting in the Rio seat for 12 hours trying to find Skittles, but I feel like I now know the kind of Rio that would manage to burst a bag of Skittles in the rear seat.
No, I wasn't. I was still in the middle of some more thundering.
Oh, that was such a good mental image.
Oh my god, I hate this manual. It just keeps loading the fucking videos and scrolling me back up. Holy shit, stop loading. Stop loading. Jesus. I've been scrolling down just to get scrolled back up for the past 5 minutes.
Oh, we're done refueling, finally.
Springfield 5-1. Clear to taxi to runway.
If I hadn't managed to smack us into the Black Sea, I was actually going to try and go for a carrier landing. Because I need some more practice at that.
Did I tell you how my first carrier landing went?
I can imagine.
No, actually, I landed my very first carrier landing in the Tomcat was a 3-wire. I just hit the I hit the deck so hard that the fucking head was 30 degrees to the left.
My first, I managed to break the plane. We survived it by broke the plane. That was with Dibbo in the back seat. I did a couple of Case 1 practices offline. That's why I don't do Case 1s, because I figured out very quickly I'm incapable of them. And then I did a couple of straight-ins multiplayer. I got a 3-wire by accident. I didn't, like, I wasn't even aiming for the 3-wire. I was just like, any wire's a goal. And caught 3-wire, and then I think I've had 2 1-wires since. But I usually have to, like, wave off at least once, just because my approaches are so sloppy, and I usually come in at a bad angle. And it seems to me that every time I try to land in the carrier is right around the same time that the carrier decides it's going to do a U-turn.
My mic was unmuted. That's my life with air-to-air refueling.
Hey, who just thought I'd stop by to say hi before jumping into bed. Night, Rudy. Have a good sleep. And I'll catch you next time. Does the Su-27 have auto landing? In real life, probably, because the MiG-21 does, or to an extent. In DCS, not as far as I'm aware.
Why the hell does my head tracker have like a dead zone to the far right of it where I need it not to be?
It might be because the lights are aligning in a certain way. I found that one out the hard way. I have to have my tracker sitting at a certain angle, otherwise 2 of the lights will overlap and then it'll go dead.
No, not the lights. I mean, there's like a physical portion of where the capture area is just cut out.
Weird. Alright, well the flight controls are awake today. I don't know why they weren't yesterday. Can you 3-wire the Su-33 like a boss? I've not even flown the Su-33 yet. I have not set up controls for it. I should do that, but I haven't got round to it. I usually just fly land-based stuff. The Tomcat is the first naval aircraft I've flown since IL-2 1946. And I wasn't good at carrier aircraft in IL-2, so... I should set up controls for that, though. I think I'll do that sometime this week and start doing some Su-33.
Разрешаю руление на полосу 2-7.
Okay, where the fuck are we? I'm gonna go down this, then left again, and that will be 09. I do like the layout of Sanaki with all these blast pens. This is how you can tell, like, a legit VVS base from a mixed-use airport. All of these are fucking fighter blast pens, and they're laid out like kind of like little Christmas trees, which is neat. Soviet fighter bases have a very distinctive layout to them. Is carrier landing harder or mid-air refueling? VVS, I'm not going to be able to say this because I'm tired. Vozdушно вооруженные силы. It's literally just Russian for Air Force. But out of carrier landing or mid-air refueling, I haven't done any mid-air refueling yet in DCS. I kind of want to say that might be the harder one, to be honest, especially with the weight turbulence now. Like, carrier landing, it's not hard to put the Tomcat on the deck, it's hard to put the Tomcat on the deck well. Like, the Tomcat landing is kind of like the MiG-21 landing. Once you actually get the feel for it, it's easy to put it on the fucking ground or on the deck. It's just really difficult to do it well. They seem to... I'm not saying they handle the same, but they handle kind of similarly, and once you settle into the groove, it kind of just does its thing. It's very predictable. It's not like the MiG-29 or the Su-27, which float halfway down the fucking runway. Sanaki traffic, Circus 14 taxis, runway 9 for east departure, Sanaki. Forgot to turn my fucking nose wheel steering on. That would have been an interesting flight. Taxi out of my hangar and straight into the one in front of me. Oh, it's left I wanted to go here, I think. I've really got to say it, I do like the fucking differential braking for steering quite a bit more than the nose wheel. I just find it easier to work with somehow. This is typical of me. I have some sort of bizarre problem with me where simple things are really difficult and difficult things are really simple. But yeah, so the Soviets and a lot of Soviet-influenced countries don't have 3 armed services like Western countries. They don't have Air Force, Army, Navy. They have 5. So you've got the Army, the Navy, then you have the VVS, which is frontal aviation, and I think the VVS also includes the DB, which is long-range bomber aviation, and then you've got the PVO. So the PVO is actually the air defense, like the domestic air defense, and the PVO controls both all of your SAM sites and anti-aircraft artillery, and also interceptors. The VVS had interceptors as well, but the PVO was like literally the defense of the Soviet heartland. So that's a fourth separate service. It's not part of the Air Force. And the fifth force was the Strategic Rocket Forces, which is the, ballistic missile force. And they were in charge of both, things like Topals, the mobile ICBM launchers, and also silo-fired ICBMs. So the Strategic Rocket Forces, probably the closest counterpart in the US would be SAC, but they never had aircraft like SAC did. They started out purely as a missile-armed entity. Just double check nobody's actually coming in to land or take off. Sanaki Traffic Circus 14 lining up and rolling runway 94 east departure Sanaki. Oh, there we go, there's the rudder pedals playing up again. But we're close enough. Okay. Flaps. Trim. Everything looks good.
It literally created like a whole dead zone out of nowhere. I didn't have this problem like 3 hours ago.
Weird.
Yeah, it's completely screwing me over.
There's not some light reflecting onto it, is there? Because that can fuck with it.
Nope, the lights... Well, actually, I'm completely dark.
Weird.
So I can't actually shift over to the left because of this shit.
Maybe you burnt the camera out when you punched out all those flares.
Definitely the problem.
I know two things well with Russian military, Spetsnaz, all of them, and VDV. Oh boy, are you in luck. So the armor group I play with, we're not as active as we used to be, but we play a Soviet VDV unit. And although we don't play as often anymore, we've been doing some Vietnam missions on the side, playing as both Americans and as North Vietnamese forces. But if you want to check out some of our old missions, my YouTube channel, which there should be a link to in the description, same username there as here, I upload them all on there. Basically, my YouTube channel has become my archive for old streams.
You have a YouTube channel?
Yep.
104. Focus.
Same here. It's gone nowhere because YouTube is trash.
Yeah, YouTube is, well...
The thing I've been saying is that Pornhub should just make...
They really should.
Make a separate entity called the Hub, take away all the porn, and then just let it be a free uploading, because I guarantee you YouTube will do it in a day.
Pre or post Soviet VDV, both. So we've done both. We had one campaign that was set in 1973. Well, no, sorry, 76. We had another campaign that was set in, I believe, 1989 or 90 or something like that, around the time of the Soviet breakup. We've done 2 Afghan campaigns, and then a Syria campaign set in 2016. So we've had a good mix.
So you did an Afghanistan campaign, which means you did a campaign where pretty much you just got shot out of the sky by Stinger missiles the whole time.
Well, it was more us getting ambushed while in convoys and things like that. And, totally no war crimes. Okay, I should probably actually listen to what AWACS is telling me. My nearest is 330.
At 35,000, flanking. 104. Focus. Bra 312 for 270 at
Get my SRS switched as well.
104. Focus. Bra 312
Oh
for
crap, is that
270
holy
at
crap.
30,000, flanking.
You don't even know how many war crimes I had when I used to play Unsung. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, There should be an actual like playlist on my Twitch of things like highlights and stuff from some of the missions we did. So like a bunch of the Chechen missions just devolved instantly into fucking war crimes.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. And my group walks into village. One Vietnamese person looks at you for too long, and half the village just got gunned.
Okay, so we got a bunch of us used to stream or put videos on YouTube. My friend Gilson put it best. Some army units have streamers in them to promote themselves and recruit new members. The 345th has streamers in it because it needs body cams.
That's amazing. You ever watch Soviet Womble?
I've seen a couple of his videos, yeah. His Altus, was it Anti-Stasi video?
Yes,
that's very similar to how anything we do plays out, but especially our Anti-Stasi rapidly turned into war crimes. Especially once we figured out we could call in AN2s to carpet bomb things, we kind of forgot which side we were actually fighting for, and may have removed about 4 different villages from existence because there was a single Russian in them.
Yep, that's pretty much how I've done Unsung Anastasi, and it was just like, wait, we can go on F4s with napalm.
If you go on YouTube and find Sisev, CISSEV, find that channel, and look through his uploaded videos, and look for the one that's Tea Time with Zabi or something like that. It's a short video. That's from our most recent Afghan campaign. That is a pretty good summary of what the 345th is like.
Oh my lord.
And the irony should be lost on nobody that of all the VDV units to use the name of, we picked the one that is actually known for being extremely competent and killing a lot of fucking mujahideen.
104. Focus. Bra 323 for 120 at 35,000 knots.
Oh, that's like the Baghdad campaign where I was the Humvee gunner that I did, and I was super paranoid, and everything in an alleyway that moved just got like 5 rounds of 50 cal at it. Then after the thing, the Zeus told me, he was like, 3 of the people you killed actually were RPGs and IEDs.
I've got
27.
I've got a clip on this channel of the time where, during the Afghan campaign, it was after the mission and Brant was doing the debrief, and he said, special shout out to Boris, by the way, who, when marching past a village, took fire from somewhere, immediately proceeded to massacre the 4 civilians immediately in front of them, while hitting none of the mujahideen. And then later, when they were marching back past the same village, and all the civilians are like laying on the ground bleeding to death as the women mourn their loss, one of them started fucking humming the Remove Kebab song.
Oh my.
There was... Okay, so we had usually between 2 and 3 squads or platoons, depending which campaign it was. Our chom, which I was in, was actually competent. Most of our ex-military members and just generally good people were in our chom. Boris was people that were capable of being competent but didn't want to. And Boris was, like, means probably 90% of the time. Then there was Chelovek, which was kind of an expansion catch-all tacked on once we picked up a bunch of members off Reddit. And Chelovek was just like, oh my god, oh my Jesus. We had one mission in the Afghan campaign where 3 different people on 4 separate occasions confused them for AI.
Oh, that's funny. Dude, at one point in the end... Oh, go ahead.
I've got so many clips of shit like that. Like, I've got a clip of when, Platoon Command got wiped out because they happened to drive past an angry man just coming out of morning prayers with an RPG. And they were, like, they were alive, but they were fucked up, so they weren't responding on the radio. So I was briefly Platoon Command. And I was already in charge of our chom as well, because something had happened and someone had got killed, so I'd somehow inherited command for them. And I hear over the radio a call from Boris that they've got casualties and they're in a minefield. So what had happened was we were meant to be setting minefields on either side of a fork in the road and ambushing the Mujahideen as they rolled past to reinforce the position we just attacked. What Boris managed to do in their infinite fucking wisdom was lay their own minefield and then walk into it immediately after arming it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The only downside of that situation is that the radio I had did not have a speaker mode because I wanted the entire of Artyom to hear the beautiful things that were going on over the radio. Especially once Platoon Commander unfucked themselves and started asking why Boris was bogged down and complaining about casualties.
That's fantastic, dude.
I really wish that we were playing more often. I mean, I understand why. Like, you could imagine the toll this shit took on leadership, so a lot of them needed a break, but especially with, like, the intensity of mission making that went on. But
yeah.
I miss it. It was good fun. It still is when we do play. We did a couple of Vietnam missions over the past couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll be doing another one soon, but depends on how many people hate themselves enough to make a mission, I guess.
Yeah, that's always the downfall of ARMA groups. If you either don't have enough mission makers or the people who do it just get sick of it.
Yeah, we've got like a lot of very, very good mission makers too. It's just they put so much time and effort into the missions and then like we fuck them up because we're idiots.
Yep.
Like, Brant will go out of his way to research the actual battle that the mission's based on and put in references to actual things that happened. And even so far as editing the AI's dog tags, so when we fucking pick them up, if we pick them up, we'll see, like, the, one of the big sort of PTSD, or PTXD, as we call it in the 345th, one of the big PTSD-inducing missions was a Chechenian one. And Brant included like audio clips from that one video of the MVD group that was cut off and surrounded and basically annihilated overnight, and also the one of Alik and his Chechen mate who had been in the Soviet army together and fought in Afghanistan, and the Chechens trying to tell him like, don't come in here with your guys, I don't want to kill them, but we'll have to. Yeah, he put those two in, so it was already like, you know, really intense. But the other thing he did was he went and he changed the names of a lot of the enemy AI to former members of our group that had left.
Oh god.
Just to try and sink in that like these guys were fighting their old buddies from Afghanistan. But I don't think anyone actually bothered to check. So it's like, oh, why do I bother?
Yeah, see, I never pick up dog tags in general. The most I'll do is drag bodies in a bag around.
We usually don't get that into it, but if I have time and I see, like, especially if it's a player, I see they've died, I'll go over and at least check who it is.
Yeah, if it's a player, I'll check tags. Now, in my unsung career over the course of 2 groups, I got 2 names, call signs I had classified of Black Ops because everything I did they couldn't talk about because it was just war crimes on top of war.
We had, in the Syrian campaign, we had, so we've got a Russian who's, he's 40-something. He's old enough that he would have served his national service in the Soviet army.
Goodness.
And he's like our mascot. He speaks perfectly good English, but he's got a really heavy accent. And, like, I had this with a Russian friend of mine when I was in high school. He was really, like, this is my friend from high school. He was really bright, really bright, but the translation part of his brain was not real quick. He had to translate things from English into Russian, think in Russian, translate back to English, and then speak in English. So you'd ask him something and you'd get a reply, like, 5 seconds later. Troll has kind of, not the same thing, but kind of the same thing, where if he gets stressed, the English part of his brain shuts down, and you have to, like, either speak to him in Pidgin Russian, which I think only a handful of us even can do, or just hope he gets it. So often you'll find him kind of separated out from everyone else in the Lost, because when they've taken fire, he started, you know, he's got a bit anxious, and then he's, like, just shut off to English. But anyway, he got cut off because everyone else in his squad got killed, and he was trapped in a village full of the enemy, who were basically like a Hezbollah analog, in a village full of them, surrounded by his own dead comrades, with like half a magazine left in his AK. Bruh, he somehow got out of there alive after killing a bunch more guys, fucking stole a vehicle and just booked it. drove off into the fucking sunset.
Bro, that sounds like some Battlefield friend shits with the commander.
It was crazy.
I am the battlefield.
That was such a good campaign. We fucked that up so bad. We, one of the early missions, we were meant to be raiding an airbase that was being used by the Americans to train the faction that we didn't like, but we didn't want to start shit with the Americans, obviously. So we were explicitly told, do not fire at Americans, do not fire at American equipment, do not steal American equipment, do not fucking do anything against the Americans. If they want to leave there, let them leave. So we creep up on this airfield, get up on the perimeter of it, and the first shot that is fired is by fucking Boris Squad. They fired an RPG because they saw a bunch of guys running out of a hangar towards the C-130. That was a MARSOC detachment, and they killed about 6 or 7 of them with a single RPG, and that was the opening shot of the engagement.
And the next World War.
And oh no, it gets better. The surviving Americans got into the C-130, which was miraculously undamaged in this absolute clusterfuck, and they started up and start taxiing to the runway, and everyone just sees this and focuses in on it, and I start hearing from our chom, who are normally like, you don't need to worry about our chom doing dumb shit, I start hearing, oh, should we shoot the plane, while they're shooting at the plane? Like, no, you fucking idiots, it's full of Americans, what are you doing? The pilot was hit right as he rotated. What the fuck is my Su-27 doing? Oh, I had the rudder kicked over. Yeah, they fired at it as it took off. The pilot was unconscious because he got hit by a grazing blow to the head as he rotated. The aircraft stalled out, and he recovered like about probably 10 feet off the ground. So yeah.
I've had raids like that. I remember we had to steal a C-130, and I was in charge of anti-tank because we knew there was no light armored presence on there. So I go to dial in my M72, or no, my RPG, wrong story. But I go to dial in my RPG, get it set up and everything all nice and beautiful. I missed the M113 by like an inch, hit the C-130, didn't even think about the fact that it had parked right in front of it when it was engaging us, destroyed the C-130. Failed the entire mission. Right.
We've had some interesting situations with backblast. We also had an interesting situation with overpressure where we were doing like a USA EUR mission where we were the Americans in the Folder Gap basically in 1989. Abrams was full of Dutchmen. And we have a pretty strong Dutch contingent, and when you put them all in the same vehicle or the same squad, they will start conversing in Dutch and just start memeing and switch off to anything else. So, like, one of them is actually the guy I told you about with, okay, 2 of them. The Zabby goes to T-Video. Zabby is one of the Dutchmen, he is a chemist, and G-Man is the other one, he is a biologist. Those 2 are very smart, but when you put them in the same vehicle together, their collective IQ drops to about 5. And I love them for it. Yeah, so we had Zabby, G-Man, and Zeno, who is Dutch but he lives in Belgium, all in the same tank, which is a recipe for fucking disaster. Somehow, the Abrams rolled up behind our HQ element and fired its main gun without bothering to check the area around it. Overpressured the entire HQ.
Everyone's ears just instantly exploded.
Ears, their heads would fucking instantly explode because it was right behind them when it fired. Like, 120 mil overpressure is no joke. That shit will kill you. It will fucking liquefy your insides. Armor is just so much fun. You need the right people. A friend of mine who is, I think he's US Air Force Intelligence now. He was originally, I'm pretty sure he was originally US Army. Then he was a cop for a while. Then he went Air Force, or it could have been the other way around. It could have been Air Force, then got a cop. Anyway, he's done a bit of everything. Really good guy, but he is more on the serious side of things. So he invited me to this group that are really super serious milsim, and you can only join if you can prove that you were in the military. It's like you have to show your, if you're American, your DD-214 or whatever the fuck version of that we have, or some sort of personnel record to prove you were in the military. And first of all, I didn't want to go digging through my own fucking records to show someone else. And second of all, I was like, those guys are going to take things way too seriously for me, and if I miss the army, and I would happily go back if I was in any condition to, but I don't miss it enough to do that, basically.
To do it on a computer, I completely get that. Navy boot camp is enough for me, and while I miss it, I don't need to run through that ever again.
Yeah. So I decided not to join them. I just went with the 345th instead, who Gilson directed me onto, because I'd played with a couple of 345th leadership before, just doing anti-Stasi, and they were pretty chill. 345th's a good group. We're a bit of a, we're a very dysfunctional family, but in a good way, mostly. I was in the Army Reserve for a while. I wasn't very good at it, sadly, but I do miss it. I discovered I'm not really built to carry something like a pack that weighs my own body weight in 45-degree Celsius weather.
Yeah.
I blew my knee out and it never really recovered, so that was kind of what knocked that on the head. In the US or Canadian Army? Neither. Australian Army. Yeah, no one's built to carry the kinds of shit they expect you to these days. It's just, they lump more and more stuff on the infantry, and half of it you don't need. Like, the first thing we did when we were issued our equipment was start pulling things off and chucking it away. Even at basic training, our platoon staff were on their last rotation before they went back to their units, and they didn't care anymore. So instead of teaching us the by the book way, they're just like, right, take that, chuck it, take that, chuck it, you will never use that, get rid of it, oh shit. I let him get a little close.
Yeah, that was us in Navy boot camp. They told us what they're giving us, and then they told us how much of that shit we don't need and can leave in the drawer. What time is it? Oh, it's only 3 a.m. almost. Nice.
Oh, that's an Su-27. Oh! Ah, I saw that missile. Yep. Let's see what mine does. Probably miss. Yeah, that's not going to get any mid-course correction, so yeah.
You know what's a fantastic missile that people underestimate?
Go on.
The R-77.
Oh, yeah. I haven't actually used it yet, because I tend to stay away from the most modern stuff, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, that's the benefit of the J-11 is the R-77. It's a nice missile. And the R-77 has a better air-to-ground package with pylons and racks.
I kind of probably should have paid more attention to the fact that that was an Su-27 I was flying into. Go to 100% fuel.
I think I'm going to mosey off to this place called Sleep.
Who needs that?
It's 3 a.m.
Who needs that?
What time is it for you in Australia? It was 6 in the afternoon.
8:44.
Oh, it's like 3.
Because I'm on the east coast. Well, I'm not on the coast, but I'm eastern, so I'm 3 hours ahead of Tawny at the moment because we're daylight savings. I don't think WA does that.
Yeah, I have a friend who's in Canberra right now. He's US. He went to like the US Air Force cadet thing. Now he's in the Australian Defence Force or whatever, and he's thinking of going for the Australian Navy. He's got the FN-90, and it's a beautiful weapon.
I never got to shoot the F-90 because it was still in development while I was in, but I played with one. It seems like it's improved a lot of the problems I had with the F-88. Most of which were minor things. I mean, at its core, the F-88 was basically just an AR-18, so there's not much you can fuck up there. The one thing I don't really know if I like is that they got rid of the quick detach barrel, because that was a really good feature if you had a stoppage. Like, no matter how bad the obstruction was, just, you know, you do your standard cock lock, look in, obstruction, right, pull the mag, pull the barrel, shake the piss out of the rifle, barrel back in, mag back in, and you're back in.
Yeah.
Takes like not even 10 seconds. So that was a nice feature. It also kind of alleviated the problem with most bullpups where you can't visually check the chamber very easily, which was good on range days. Make sure no one was toting around a hot rifle.
Yeah,
it also led to the hilarious situation where people didn't realize that barrels get hot after a bit of shooting and ended up with great big fucking burns up their necks from where they sat the barrel against it. Because when you do the unload drill, you end up with the rifle held down like this, so the range officer can look down from behind, and then you have the barrel over your shoulder so they can just walk behind you and check along the line as they go. And yeah, you'd end up with the occasional person that let it rest on their neck and then found out very quickly why you don't do that. Still waiting for this fucking thing to refuel.
Yeah, my favorite thing to fire in basic. Oh, I love the M4, dude.
I really, 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 really want to get my hands on any kind of AR, honestly, but what I really wish I could own is an old school fucking slick side M16. I love those things. Such a beautiful rifle, and so light. Like, the F-88 was a small rifle, but fuck, it was heavy. Just that, like, the base model, from memory, was 3.6 kilos loaded. The SA-1 was, like, 4.3 loaded. It's a heavy rifle.
Yeah, I have a couple nice guns. I have an M1 that's actually dated from World War II. It's a carbine. I have a P38. I've got a recreation from the 80s MP40. Your AR-15, your 1911, your 9mm. I love the M9. Most of my friends.
I haven't shot the M9. I used to kind of fall for that, oh, the M9 is bad, bring back the 1911 meme, but the M9 seems like a really good gun. And it seems like most of the issues people have with it are the same ones they have with the Browning High Power here, which is, by the time they get to use it, it's been in service for fucking 50 years and is, like, worn out to shit.
The Browning High Power... when I think of that thing, I just think of the most broken pistol in Rising Storm Vietnam ever added.
I don't know why they gave it the fucking rifle sight in that, because I'm pretty sure the Australian pistols never had that. They just had a conventional pistol sight.
Yeah.
Or they may have been refitted, I don't know.
I still think the coolest gun I've fired is an MG42.
Oh, you got to fire one of those? Oh, nice. The only machine guns I fired have been, I fired a fucking full auto 22 once, and I've fired, obviously, stuff in the army, but other than that, it's been way too long since I got to just let loose on something with a fucking MG. That's so fun.
Dude, the MG42 is monster.
That's my favourite thing about playing Squad, is I feel like Squad, out of all the games out there, has probably got machine guns the closest. They just feel right, they sound right, they look right, they're so satisfying to use.
Yeah, I have Squad, Postscriptum, Insurgency, Rising Storm. I have Arma, but it's not installed. I just want to get a separate hard drive for Arma.
Oh god, yeah, my Arma mods folder is like probably about 100 gig at least.
Runs like 190 before I actually, interestingly enough, last week, Steam Being updated and installed like 3 of my games randomly, and go figure it uninstalled Arma for no damn reason. That was a big kick in the face.
Yeah, I have a pretty modest collection myself, because partly Australia, so there's a bunch of shit I can't get. But also I'm poor as shit, and we only have so much space in the gun safe. So I've got a number 4 Mark 1. It's a good rifle, it shoots relatively well. I mean, it's not going to be like a 1 MOA rifle, it's a service rifle. It's weird though, because I think it was either someone pieced it together out of spares, or it was like prettied up by cadets after the war as a drill rifle, because it's been refinished really well. You could signal passing aircraft with it. The butt plate is a brass one, which is not period correct. It's a Fazakli 1944 receiver. It's literally electro-penciled into the side ROF F644, so it's June 1944. But it's got parts from all over the place on it, and when I got it, it had the sight off a number 5 carbine instead of a number 4 rifle, so I had to swap that out. But it's a nice rifle. It's like, Lee Enfields are just wonderful guns. They shoot well. They're nice and they're nice and mild. 303 is such a mild cartridge to shoot. I can shoot that all day without any issues. So I got that. I've got a Ishevsk 1944 X PU sniper. I've also got a original 1944 PU scope from the same factory and the same batch as the one that's serial to the rifle. So, because unmolested sniper rifles here of any sort are usually above $2,500, it's cheaper for me to just get the rifle and scope separately and put it back together. And because it is an ex-sniper, it's not really destroying history. I mean, it is undoing something that a Soviet arsenal did to it, but the Soviet arsenal was only doing that because they needed jobs, basically. And that'll give me a pretty good shooter, I should hope. I think the stock needs replacing too, though, because I think when they de-sniped it, they just threw any old stock on and it's rubbing on the barrel in places it shouldn't. And I got a couple of 22s as well. But that's it.
I think the 2 coolest things I have are 3 actually. One is a 1907 Springfield that I use for hunting. But the 2 coolest things I have, and unfortunately these aren't, I can't have these under my name for another year because handguns require you to be 21, but I have a Colt Dragoon revolver, which was the cavalry pistol during the Mexican-American War, and then I have an authentic M1841 Mississippi rifle that was issued to Confederate non-commissions.
Oh shit! I want to
and these are both dated and actually legitimate.
I want to get like a fucking either a Brown Bess or like, this is getting unrealistic because even reproductions are fucking expensive. But I'd love to get a Baker rifle. But I don't think that will ever happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh. This picture's always my favorite. I have all my DCS screenshots set to cycle through my backgrounds, and if the picture where I landed in a field like 30 miles south of Katazi because AWACS vectored me the complete wrong way to home plate. And luckily I realized, because I know the map so well from playing it for like 5 years, that I was flying the wrong way, so I had just enough time to turn around before running out of fuel.
Beautiful.
And it was also because my like heading stuff you know how the MiG-21 just randomly turns off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good time. I need to fly the BIS. It's been like a month since I've flown the BIS.
Focus 2-0. Request bogey dope.
Good old shotgun dream. Anyways, I think I'll be I'm down to try this again tomorrow night, or today night, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that SOS thing working for my immersion.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out why it wasn't working. Because I did have it working the other day, but...
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, did I just shoot something that got splashed? Yes, I did. 200 IQ.
Alright, man, well, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Catch you later.
Focus. Springfield 5-1. Request bogey dope.
At 18,000, flanking.
Okay, friendly down here. He's killed whatever was over this way.
Focus 104. Request bogey dope.
104. Focus. Bra 312 for 130 at 28,000 knots.
Friendly air defense blocking me. How considerate of them. So, with the introduction of the F-14, it looks like 107th West has switched missions. Instead of flying from Sochi, Gurada, and Sukhumi, we are flying from Senaki. Is this self-promotion in chat, I see? God, trimming this thing is such a fucking pain. Auto trim? In an Su-27, what do you think this is? Auto trim is for bourgeois pigs. We ain't got none. This is all by hand. There is an altitude hold, yes, although I think I have it bound wrong, so give me just a moment here while I quickly check my bindings. I think I bound the wrong thing, because the autopilot in this is a bit... Okay, I think it's this one I want, so I'll rebind that. Okay. There we go, yeah. So there is an auto leveler, it's just annoying. Flanker is the most advanced form of obsolete. Yeah, you could definitely say that. Although, as you guys will know if you've been hanging around a while, my view on the cockpits is that they're not as obsolete as you might think. So the Soviets designed the cockpit to be full of steam gauges and with this weird layout for a specific reason, that being ease of conversion. They tried to keep their cockpits as similar to each other as they could. So if you went from a MiG-15 to a MiG-19 to a MiG-21 to a MiG-23 to a MiG-29 to an Su-27, you would know where everything is, you would know which instrument is which, you'd know where to look. Everything would be calibrated the same, you'd know where to reach for different controls. So it's janky and backwards and awkward if you're used to 3 MFDs and a HOTAS setup, but if you're not, it's actually really well laid out. Everything about the Su-27. Well, I can't tell you everything about it, but I can tell you a bit about it. So, the Su-27 and the MiG-29 both came from the same place. They were both responses to the same specification requirement for an advanced aircraft able to counter the F-15. The problem is that the Soviets could not afford the number they needed, so they went with a lower end and a higher, or like literally a small and a large. So the small is a MiG-29, it's physically smaller, it carries a bit less payload, it's much shorter legged, and some of the systems are a bit simplified, and it's mechanical controls. And the high end is the Su-27, which is a much physically larger aircraft, fly-by-wire, much more in terms of weapon stations. So the Su-27 was used as a long-range interceptor and like a straight-up air superiority aircraft. The MiG-29 was a frontal fighter, mostly. We've got a couple of Tu-95, correction, a Tu-95 and a Tu-142 off the nose. You can tell those are bombers because if I just unlock this guy, you'll see a bunch of dashes in line. The more dashes horizontally, the larger the return, so the larger the target. 2 dashes is usually a small fighter, 3 dashes is something like a Tomcat or a small civilian aircraft, or like a, say, a twin-engine transport. 4 dashes is a Tu-95 or an AWACS aircraft or something like that. Single dashes, like single rows, are enemy, and double dashes, like this guy on the left, are friendly. That's your IFF system. In the actual aircraft, you can use this screen as a HUD repeater. which it is in the MiG-29, but the Su-27 has a data link, so that's what it is usually used for. And the data link in this is fantastic. It really is. You can do some pretty disgusting stuff with the Su-27 in DCS just using the data link. Back in the old days, when DCS was more or less just an updated version of Lomac, there was a guy, Pressing, he goes by now. He used to be Serbian 2 Spirit or something like that. He took a MiG-29, back when it had data link, managed to sneak around a 4-ship of 2 Su-27, 2 F-15. So it was a mixed 4-ship. They were flying close formation, you know, thinking that nothing was there because he was notching them and the AWACS wasn't picking him up either. So he slipped in behind them, actually joined in behind their formation, like maybe a mile or two behind them, and just sat there and in sequence locked one, fired, locked another, fired, just with his helmet mounted sight, just bam, 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 bam. And by the time the 4th missile was off the rails, the first guy had just realized that he'd been shot at. And he splashed all 4 of them within about 5 seconds. So if you're a good pilot and you know how to abuse the systems on this thing, especially the electro-optical mode, then you can do some filthy, filthy, filthy things. Okay, I'm gonna take the autopilot off, and we'll head over and intercept these bombers. So the range gate is on the left side here. That arrow moving downwards on the HUD is the actual range in kilometers. The upper block is the maximum range. The middle block is the lethal radius, where the missile will still be on power or, you know, still have energy to kill the target no matter what. And the lower dot is the minimum range. So we're now within lethal range. I usually wait until I'm about 15 to 20 kilometers out before I'll fire an R-27ER, even though that's well within the missile's capability. I just hold them until they're close. And there we go. We'll get rid of that. And we'll start turning to engage a second bomber. Highly unlikely he will get away from that.
3853 for 120 at 35,000 flanking. 104, focus, bra, 079 for 130.
But if he does manage to evade it, that's what we have a gun for. Actually, it looks like he might have.
104, focus, bra, 079
Right.
for 130.
You want to play those games, buddy?
Flanking.
I will demonstrate the gun.
104, focus, merged. 104, focus, bra, 011 for 110 at 35,000 knots.
Okay, I'm too far out to get the gun pipper. I'm going to close up. Oh. Well, he just got splashed, but that wasn't my missile. Looks like someone else is going for the same target. He's still flying, so I think we might finish him with guns, just to be sure. Hopefully our friend... Oh, no, it's a Vigan. Okay. I'll let him take that guy. We'll unlock him. Go back to our missiles. Lock this guy with the HMD, if I can. No, he's still a bit far out.
104, focus, bra, 320 for 90 at 19,000 flanking.
Try bore sighting him, maybe. See if that works. Doesn't want to lock him. actually surprised I don't have him on BVR. There we go. We'll fire an R-70. Oh, never mind, we won't. He's been hit.
Ready for contact.
Okay, I guess we're saving our missiles for fighters. Is the electro-optical not working? It just wasn't picking him up from that angle, I think. So we got an Su-27 322 488. So I can zoom in and out on the data link, and that also changes the radar scan distance, I think. Or not the radar scan distance, but the actual display distance on the HUD. And then I can change the scan distance down the bottom. So you got to kind of juggle the scan distance and the position of the antenna to lock things up.
Return free contact.
But it's not that difficult, to be honest. Yeah, it can find an F-15 for miles, because the anything in Afterburner it can see from like stupid distances. I think I picked someone up at about, actually I think it was over 100 miles on Growling Sidewinder server, and it was like a fucking Hornet in reheat or something, and I picked him up because I was right behind him, and he was a hell of a long way away. Hey, what happened to you sleeping? Go to bed. Unless you're about to tell me my voice put you to sleep. Alright, we've got another pair of bombers, Tu-142s coming in, so actually maritime patrol aircraft, not bombers. So I can pop those two, and then hopefully tag the Su-27 behind them, and there's a MiG-21 coming in too. The MiG-21 is like the ultimate underdog of DCS. Everyone underestimates it until they're within a merge, and once you merge with a MiG-21, odds are pretty good the MiG-21's actually going to win, especially if it's AI and it has the infinite energy of the AI. We're out with 51st Yaga in blue flag in the Su-27. He taught me the true power of EO and ET. Yeah, it's pretty impressive when someone does it. I like the name. That goes well with his playstyle. Baba Yaga. Fucking boogeyman.
104. Focus. Bra. 324.
So you can see there the aircraft we've got locked. So the way you read this HUD, which I didn't actually know until I was watching Helgado about a week or two ago, I knew that the friendly indicator is a circle on the tail, enemy is a point. The length of the stick is the relative airspeed, and the width of the cross is the altitude. So old mate on the 3 o'clock position there is on the deck, friendly, booking it towards us. And then these 3 guys off our nose are high up, relatively slow, and enemy. I really want to see like a 1980s Afghanistan map, just so I can listen to Kino while flying my MiG-23. and he can be doing logistics in the MI8 or something. That'd be awesome. Because he can fly helicopters, I can't. I do not know how they work. They are bizarre and arcane wizardry. I know in theory how helicopters work, how they fly, but in practice, no. Ooh, uh-oh. So that MiG-21 is hauling ass directly towards me. I'm gonna get away a missile at this guy. Oh, looks like he's head-on merge with the friendly off my right. So we'll get a missile at that guy, then we'll lock up the other one, which is going right. I think that might be a fighter. Actually, no, that's the other bomber. Is he actually going down? I can't tell. I think he's still up. I think he's just defensive. What is with my R-27s today? Okay, well, I'm not wasting another R-27 on him. This will be a job for an R-73. And now you'll be able to see why I love the R-73. It just jumps off the rails and goes straight for whatever you fire it at. We've hit him. He's still flying. It's gun time. Bit too much nose up trim there. The aircraft wanted to climb. Okay, I've got another target off my left. That will probably be that Su-27. Might be another bomber, actually. Yeah, I think that's another bomber. Can't lock this guy yet. There we go. So you can usually lock a bomber about 60 to 70 kilometers away. Fighters typically more like 40 or 50. Hang on, that's not the... What's this then? It might be a ghost. Like the Hornet, the data link screen on the Su-27 will ghost. It'll show things that are dead. Yeah, no. We're gonna leave him alone for a minute. 010 for 27. That's the MiG-21. There he is. Or is that not him? No, that's an Su-27. That is an Su-27, so where is this MiG-21 gone? Oh, I'm a bit scared now. Fire at him and force him defensive. Oh, did it switch to a... No, it didn't. Okay, never mind. I was a bit worried it switched automatically to my 73s there. Okay. That might actually be the MiG-21. Yeah, I think it is. I keep forgetting that because I'm playing Blue 4, AWACS gives me measurements in Imperial, and this aircraft is metric. Okay, we've splashed that. One of the very few times you'll see a clean kill on a MiG-21. Got another... One more aircraft coming in from the east. Or they might be ghosts, I'm not sure.
104. Focus.
That merge call was for the MiG-21's wreck. So I'm not worried about it.
Ready, recontact. return pre-contact.
Still good on fuel because we are in an Su-27. We have fuel for days.
Clear contact.
There we go. 294 for 46 miles. Okay, I should probably actually speed this turn up a bit. Expedite my turn. 294 for 36. I see two contacts. They both look like bombers. What altitude was he at?
Focus 104. Request bogey dope.
14,000 feet.
104. Focus. Bra.
So I'm quite a ways above him.
450 at 29,000 knots.
Don't have him on data link, so no one else sees him.
104. Focus. Bra. 125 for 120 at 26,000 cold.
And he's heading north, so he's running. Let's try EO and see if that picks him up. Because if he's tail onto us, it will have a much better chance. Confirm they're fixing the MiG-21's damage model and the Gazelle flight model. That could be interesting, because the MiG-21 is remarkably robust, but I'm wondering how much of that is its damage model and how much of that is, like, actually realistic. What I really want is the updated MiG-21 cockpit with better lighting. That is what I want. Where is this Su-27?
104. Request bogey dope.
So we're about 10,000 feet now. So he should be above me.
104. Focus.
287.
293 430 at
For 30.
30,000 knots.
What the fuck? The EWRS and AWACS and the data link are all telling me three totally different sets of information here. Okay, I've got contacts over there. I think those are bombers. Yeah, that'll be the bomber. There's the con. Where is this Su-27?
Focus 104. Request bogey dope.
Ah, there we go. There's a fighter return. Off the nose, but it's distant, so that wouldn't be him. Shouldn't be him. And DCS has crashed, or I've lost connection. Lost connection. Oh well. I got some Su-27 in. It wasn't very eventful, though. Let's see. Georgia at war should be back up by now. Which it is. Been back up for... Oh, wow. It must have gone down and come back up yet again or something. So it's only been up for 3 minutes. I think that's how you read that. Oh, no. Sorry. It's been up for 3 hours, I think. It goes minutes, hours, days, and then the slash in front is, I guess, weeks. It's cool seeing it. If you go through my YouTube, there's a lot more Su-27 stuff, because there was about a week or two where I was just flying the Su-27 pretty much exclusively. But yeah, it's a fun aircraft to fly. It's pretty simple. It's one of those ones you can just jump into and start killing things. It's nice and clean in terms of the way the HUD's designed. I quite like that. Have you ever done the Cobra in the Su-27? No, I haven't. I know in theory how to do it. I've seen Shifty Mover do it a couple times. I've had bad experiences with the S key. So the S key is to disconnect the the flight control system, right? So you press the S key and you make even the slightest mistake and the aircraft is on its back in a flat spin and you're like blacked out because your fucking eyeballs have flown out of their sockets, basically. You have to be really careful about when you time that switch, because once you've disconnected that flight control system, you have a tail-heavy, inherently unstable aircraft that weighs a lot, deciding it wants to do things that you haven't told it to. Do you have a yellow 13 skin for it? I don't think so, but some of my skins aren't working anyway, because I think there was either there was an update to the... Oh no, I know what's happening. They changed the nation that the Su-27s spawn in as, so I'd have to go back and edit the library files, go into the lure file, and add Ukraine. That's what happened. So the reason I couldn't use a bunch of my personal skins there is because they're nation-specific, and I'd already modified them to work for Abkhazia, which is the faction that they used to spawn the Su-27s as, but they've switched them to Ukraine with a new mission file. If Georgia at War's been up for 3 hours 38, it means it's probably going to restart again soon. The 7th. Looks like I just lost connection. I don't think the server actually went down. I might actually jump on OCG, which is the Australian Through the Infernos. I guess not. I guess it's down. Well then, let's have a look. Growling Sidewinders, PvP doesn't have anyone in it. Cold War. That's not how you type cold, nor is that. There we go. Cold War, that's empty. This was the server I used to originally play on. Unfortunately, it's not very populated. DDCS. God damn it. So I can't do any MiG-21 PvP stuff because all my usual MiG-21 PvP servers are empty. Body spike. There's people on blue flag. It's a bit lopsided on Caucasus. And it's also a bit lopsided on Persian Gulf. I usually play with other people on Buddy Spike because I'm not good enough at like aerial tactics and strategy to know what I should be doing. So I usually try and get someone else I can fly along with. Just worried that I'm going to join Georgia at war and it's going to crap out. Actually, no, I think that might be ours. So yeah, maybe it did just restart. Who knows? Whatever. I'll join it. We will see. But yeah, on my YouTube there will be quite a few streams I've done previously where I was flying the Su-27. There'll be some MiG-29, mostly MiG-29G, which is the Germanized version of it. It's basically a MiG-29 912 export model, I think it is, like 912A or 913A or something like that. So it's slightly different. The HUD reads in Imperial while the instruments read in metric, and the voice warning system's been replaced by a German porn actor from the sounds of things. But otherwise it's the same aircraft, and it can't carry the R-77, but otherwise it's basically the same. Why does US do grey on their planes and Russia camo? Well, here's the thing. Even back in Soviet days, you would see a mix. So quite often the PVO on their interceptors would go grey, or just leave them unpainted. Whereas the VVS, frontal aviation, would paint camouflage because VVS, as part of its role, would mostly be flying low altitude in support of ground attack aircraft or the ground forces themselves. So for the VVS to be wearing camo made sense. It's the same reason that back in the 80s the A-10s were camouflaged. And back in Vietnam, most US Air Force aircraft were camouflaged, US Navy aircraft were grey. The US switched to grey for basically everything back in the, I want to say, mid-80s, because they just found that at the altitudes where they operated, it was better to be all over grey, low visibility, than to have camouflage on the aircraft. So it really depends on what you expect the aircraft to be doing. If it's going to be spending a lot of time near the ground, you want to camouflage it for the ground. If it's going to be spending a lot of time at high altitude, there's no reason to do that, because it's either going to be, you know, you're not going to see it against the ground real well anyway, and there's every chance there'll be a cloud layer beneath it, so it'll tone in with that too. And yeah, MiG-29 equals no fuel. The MiG-29's biggest shortcoming is its range. It just has no fuel. It's like the MiG-21. You get off the ground, you go kill something close to your base, and you RTB immediately. Actually tell them to plug in the ground power and ground air first, I think. Oh, wrong thing. How would you feel about MiG-31 in DCS? It's not going to happen. The Russian Ministry of Defense will not allow it. The MiG-31 is very much their main interceptor. They would shit themselves if they saw that in DCS as a flyable, full-fidelity aircraft. As something kind of on the level of the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft, it might make the cut, but I don't think Eagle Dynamics has the interest in doing that. We might see the MiG-25, although I kind of doubt it, because the MiG-25 is very specifically an interceptor. The MiG-25 is a huge, heavy steel aircraft that is designed to fly very high, very fast, shoot something with a couple of missiles, and then RTB. That's all it's intended to do. That and reconnaissance. So it would be interesting to have, and I'd certainly love to fly it, but do I think anyone's going to put in the effort to actually make the module? No, to be honest, and definitely not for the 31. So the reason we don't have a full fidelity clickable cockpit MiG-29 or Su-27, and the reason we don't have an Su-24 or an Su-34, is because the Russian Ministry of Defense has straight up put an embargo on them. They are not to be made as full fidelity modules in DCS. To be honest with you, especially with the kind of policy the Russians have been pursuing recently with regards to social media of conscripts, I would not be surprised if, had Flaming Cliffs 3 have been developed now instead of when it was, the Russians would say, you're not even putting the MiG-29 in that at all, let alone with a professional level flight model. So, it was made to stop the SR-71? Not exactly. It was actually a counter to the B-58 and other early supersonic bombers. The SR-71 was kind of something the Russians just had to deal with. The MiG-25 was in service limited to Mach 2.73, I think it was. I did say before on the stream 2.35, but I was wrong. It's 2.73, I'm pretty sure. 2.7 something. That isn't its thrust limit. The MiG-25's engines are powerful enough, it will get up to Mach 3.2. The problem is, at that speed, you are putting the airframe under such intense stress from the heat and the airflow, and the engines will shit themselves. Like, literally, you'll burn your engines out from one flight. So a couple of times historically, pilots were told that they could accelerate to that speed as a show of force, and then the aircraft was immediately overhauled when it landed. But in service, it was limited to Mach 2.7. It was intended to counter things like the B-58 and, to some degree, the Valkyrie, which never ended up happening anyway. And by dint of being very fast and flying very high, it also made a very good reconnaissance aircraft, which is really most of what it did was reconnaissance. The SR-71 was just so high performance that really you couldn't do much about it. And at the point the SR-71 entered service anyway, you have to remember that reconnaissance satellites were a thing and had been a thing for some time. The main role of the SR-71 was to get on-demand tactical reconnaissance. So if you're using a satellite, you have to wait until it's actually over the area you want to photograph. If it's, you could build an installation that's outside of the satellite's orbit path. Stuff like that. So basically the SR-71 wasn't to be the main reconnaissance aircraft, it was to kind of supplement satellites and work in the gaps of where they couldn't cover. And that's also the only reason it was kept on service for so long, is just to fill the gap where information was needed now instead of when the satellite flew overhead. Oh, turned it all the way back around. There we go. Okay, we'll tell Jester he can start his shit.
Copy that. ICS comm check. Okay. Arm the ejection seat.
Thanks, Jester. I'm glad one of us remembers.
Closing canopy. Check.
That was a very stern arm the ejection seat. I don't think he's impressed with how often I forget to do that.
All right, let's start.
My question is what the SR-71 chasing nowadays? There is something that is higher than speed that it's chasing. I don't know what. The SR-71's out of service, and the MiG-25 is also out of service, I believe. The MiG-31 is still in service just by the fact that it's a large, long-range, fast aircraft that's very good as an interceptor. The MiG-31, in terms of its role, is basically the Russian equivalent of what the Tomcat was designed to do. The difference being that the Tomcat can dogfight, but the MiG-31 cannot, because the MiG-31 is a huge, heavy, So here's the thing, the SR-71 is built out of Soviet titanium, because the Soviet Union was by far the world's largest supplier of titanium, so the Americans set up all these shell companies based out of third world countries to buy Soviet titanium to build the SR-71. Now, aside from the sheer expense of titanium and the fact that they had to get it off the guys they were building the aircraft to take sneaky pictures of, the other problem with titanium aircraft is that titanium is notoriously difficult to work with. It's hard to weld, it's hard to rivet, it's hard to form into shapes. It's not easy stuff to use. You don't want to be using titanium if there's a better alternative to use it. Now, for the kind of speed the SR-71 needed to fly, there wasn't a better alternative. Oh, joy of joys, my backup ADI is not working, so I guess we're not using that this flight. Yeah, so the SR-71, because of its performance, had to be titanium. The Soviets kind of realized with the MiG-25's performance, they could get away with not using titanium, and instead just build the aircraft out of steel. Like, the MiG-25 is fucking corrugated stainless steel. No shit. Most of the structure of it is from corrugations under the skin. So it's a very sturdy, strong aircraft, but it weighs a lot. Like, it is a huge, heavy
traffic hard 2, flight of 2, crossing 22.
And if you look at the size of the cans on the MiG-25, it makes sense. You need some big boy engines to get that much steel moving at Mach 2.7. Managed to fuck up my thought process here. What am I doing? Oh, right, left engine start.
And up traffic hard 2, flight clear of 22.
I got there in the end. May have dumped the flares, broke the radar, and maybe something else on accident, but at least I armed the seat for you. Yeah, that's true. You also turned my master caution off on me several times before I figured out it was you. The other thing I keep forgetting to do is arm the spoilers and speed brakes. So I think this needs to be down for the carrier and up for the airfield. Under Clinton, they brought back into service, might be an A-12, but I know they reinstated one, and I believe it's some secret project we use the chase plane. Maybe. I do know the SR-71 was kept in service as late as, I think it was Gulf War I, because they just needed right now reconnaissance that they couldn't get off the satellites. But I think the last actual in-service SR-71 flight was in the early 90s, or maybe mid-90s. Or I could be thinking, I could be wrong, they might have used it as late as Afghanistan, but I know they don't really use them anymore. It's just, it's too expensive. The SR-71 is absurdly expensive to operate, and they never built very many of them in the first place, so if anything goes wrong, repairing it is a nightmare. Okay, what am I doing? Air source? We're going to disconnect our ground crew before I drag them with me again.
Chief, turn off the ground power. Chief, disconnect ground air supply.
Okay. What am I forgetting now?
Number Easy 11 taking off 04, last call.
I think I'm good. That ADI being stuffed is a headache. Oh, ILS, even though I don't know how to use it. There we go. I love when the ATC, the AI ATC, spams you, because it doesn't like the fact two people are taxiing on different ends of the airfield at once. That's great, and you can't stop that spam either. I mean, I could by turning the radio off, but the worst part is in the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft, you literally cannot turn that off. Even if you set it to filter out radio messages, it still does it. Just double check we got armed up with everything we asked for. Yep, we sure did. Still wonder how a submarine leaves port and disappears for 90 days and make no communications and get new codes and mission updates. I think they do communicate, but they use very low frequency radio. Because I know that out at, was it Jindara or something, out in fucking arse end of nowhere, Western Australia, they've got this massive comms array, which is VLF for, there's like an early warning radar, and there's also VLF, which is for submarine comms. I love the flicker as the VDI changes modes. That's awesome. This should be telling us we're good to taxi any moment now. You are full of crazy knowledge. I read a lot. To my own detriment, I'll fall into a black hole of like 10 hours of reading about the most obscure shit that I'm never going to need to know.
Ready to taxi.
Okay, parking brake. And upper traffic, Circus 14 taxis, runway 224 southwest departure, and upper. Knocked my track IR slightly out of alignment. There we go. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, because I know it's a really shitty, like, ancient fucking low-res camera and the lighting's bad, but this thing is held together by tape and oh sorry, not tape, by blue tack and modeling glue and matchsticks and a rubber band. Because while the track IR camera is very well made, these things are flimsy as shit. They have, like, they're really brittle plastic. They have a lot of very poorly engineered weak spots that are, like, it's a matter of time before they fail. This is my second track IR headset that I've gone through. Why am I... Come on. Can I get nose wheel steering, please? There we go. Yeah, this is the second track IR headset I've had. I had to buy this one to replace the old one, and this one is already broken. Like, I mean, I know I'm clumsier than the average person. I tend to drop things and stand on them and throw them around the room, accidentally. But they just break so easily. If they made this out of metal, or if they just designed it to be a bit chunkier, or if there wasn't, like, there's a single fucking split pin, basically, like, not even a split pin, but it's like a plastic grommet that holds the rotating arm into the base. That breaks so easily, because it's got two little nubs on the end of it, and it just takes the slightest force to snap one or both of those off, and then this is useless, it's just loose. I had to glue it in place, which took, again, a good 10 minutes for the glue to set, and then reinforce it with fucking blue tack. I replaced mine with Dell Clip, haven't looked back. Yeah, I should probably replace this with something else, I just haven't got around to it yet. If I had like a 3D printer or something, I'd just print one. But for now, my scuffed, jury-rigged repair has been good enough to get it to work. It just, particularly in hot weather, if I'm moving my head a lot, sometimes the blue tack starts to melt and it'll start sagging, so I've got to constantly recalibrate it. Better than nothing. Even with a broken track IR, it's still better than not having a track IR. This thing was such a revelation to me when I first got it. Suddenly having actual situational awareness in Sims, it was just like, holy shit. I can see everything. I can actually track stuff now with my eyes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sort the wings out while we're taxiing, because I'm a fucking rebel like that. Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to tell Jess to change to 133, which is AWACS. I thought I told him to do this. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Roger.
There we go.
461, Overlord, pop-up group 0984110.
I love watching the wings on this thing flex. It's fucking mesmerizing.
461, Overlord, Bra 130.
Back when I used to play a lot of Rise of Flight, I'd fly the Albatross quite a lot. And it was like ASMR before ASMR was like a big thing. You just sit there with the rush of the wind past your head and the purr of the engine, and because the Albatross didn't usually... the Austrian-built ones had a fairing over the engine, the German ones had the top exposed, so you could actually watch the rocker arms. It was just hypnotizing watching it, it was beautiful. Okay, we'll just check F10, because I don't trust these fuckers to actually announce themselves. Looks good. An upper traffic, Circus 1-4, lining up rolling 22 for southwest departure and an upper.
Friendly 3-ship, Bra 255, 1 mile. And a friendly, Bra 165, 19 miles. Angels 14. Traffic E3, 8 o'clock high, 12 miles.
An upper traffic, Circus 1-4, clear all runways and departing southwest. pushing to...
Hey, I got dirt at 7 o'clock.
So there's a cloud base. Yeah, that's 2,000 feet. So cloud base is at 2,000 today. What GPU do I have? I have a 1050 Ti. If you do ! specs in chat, the bot should tell you what I'm running for everything. I didn't have the money for a 1080, and I didn't want to buy myself an RMA 2080 Ti, because everyone I know that bought a 2080 has had to RMA it. So I just went with a 1050, which is an incremental upgrade, but it was a welcome one. I used to run a 560 Ti until about 6 months ago, and I've noticed a huge difference. I usually don't upgrade my PC unless either something breaks really badly, or I come into a lot of money. And if I do upgrade, it's usually something that doesn't require much fucking around with other stuff. Like, I haven't upgraded my motherboard or CPU since the last time I had one blow on me, simply because I don't want to deal with reinstalling Windows. I know you're supposed to reinstall Windows regularly to keep it clean, but my PC is such a clusterfuck.
We have a friendly
I'm a digital hoarder.
8 o'clock.
So the less I disturb my little digital nest, the happier I am. So
there is a bandit.
I'm going to have a minor meltdown
60 miles,
at the end of the year,
1,800.
because January next year Windows 7 hits its end of life, and I'm going to have to move to Windows 10 whether I like it or not, and that is going to fuck up so much shit. I'm not going to be a happy boy next January. Not happy at all. Okay, what was that last call?
Ford 6-1. Request bogey dope.
Oh, we got an enemy off the nose already. Nice.
Hey man, dirt at 10 o'clock. And nails 11 o'clock.
We'll just cheat the trim there. And use that to trim out the HUD and VDI. And then disengage the autopilot, prime those again for next time we need it. And hey presto, we're going to switch to the AA HUD now. So we got enemy up there.
We have a friendly KC-135, 7 o'clock, 11 miles.
Thank you, Jester. So we got one on the deck, off the nose. Actually, they're all on the deck, off the nose, because the clouds are so low, I guess. And yeah, the cloud ceiling is really low today. Both the floor and the ceiling. So range 61 on the guy that Jess is currently tracking, altitude 2,100. Most of these guys are going to be below the clouds, it looks like. 096 for 45. And he's running from us. Just going to check our F10 map here. I have no friendlies off the nose whatsoever, so everything to my front is enemy. Looks like the Tomcat off my 8 o'clock is already launching Phoenixes, so I'm free to fire whenever the fuck I feel like it. By the way, if you guys play a lot of GCI, or you just like knowing which direction aircraft are flying, switch to Russian symbology on the map, because it actually gives you a little aircraft icon with an arrow pointer, not that F in a box bullshit. I just find the Russian symbology that much more intuitive than NATO. Guys, 2,088 miles.
Bandit, 090, 87 miles, 2,500. Roger that. Not able.
You can't pick him up? What?
Get ready.
Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to fire
Nailed,
while I'm in
12
track
o'clock.
while scan. Circus 14 Fox 3. Which target number is that? Can't tell.
Nailed,
Don't
11
tell me
o'clock.
what I want.
Bandit 2 ship, Rob, 085, 82 miles.
Oh, those guys are further out than I thought. Actually, no, that missile's the one the Phoenix was tracking on. I think it just got splashed. By the other Tomcat, maybe. We'll go into SCT, whatever he's looking at.
Unable.
No, he can't. These guys are all on the deck. There's no point in me being up here, so I'm going to go down and mix it up. I just got to remember the cloud base is really low and I'm going to be near the mountains. There we go.
Roger. Can do it.
Oh, come on. Jester. They're probably in the mountains, so
Copy.
he's going to have trouble picking them up.
Unable.
Yeah, he's having trouble. Oh well, we'll go PLM for now. Where's my nearest?
Ford 6-1. Request bogey dope.
Already back in the clouds, jeez. And yet again, AWACS not talking to me. 068 for 50. And my game crashed right as I locked somebody. Interesting. Very interesting. You know what? You know what I feel like doing? I feel like playing something I haven't played in quite a while, and I'm not actually sure if the... I'm not sure it'll work, put it that way. Because it hasn't in the past. It's very picky about whether OBS picks it up or not. But if I can get OBS to actually register it, I think I'm going to play something in the same vein as DCS, but different period. And this will be something I haven't played in multiplayer yet. I do want to play it in multiplayer quite badly. I just have not got round to it. I don't even know if people still play it. But yeah, we'll see if it launches and if OBS picks up the right thing. So the problem with this game, this being Isle 2 Cliffs of Dover, is that OBS will pick up the wrong window a lot of the time. So you'll be able to see the in-game menu screens and the briefing screen and so on. But as soon as it switches to an actual, as soon as you're flying, as soon as you've got the actual game window rendering, OBS won't pick it up. So you'll be stuck watching the briefing screen or a black screen or something like that. So if that happens, do tell me, because I'm not going to know, unfortunately. Because on my end, it looks fine. It's just whether OBS picks it up or not. Just going to do a quick mission in single player. Let's see. Bomber intercept, low level. We will take, if I can remember how to do this, there we go. We'll take a spit out. Spitfire 1A. We'll take 6 of those against 9 DO-17s. And I think that's all we can get. I don't know if we can add another group for the Germans. So we'll just be flying against unescorted bombers, but it's been quite a while since I've flown this, so I need some practice anyway. This is much more in line with where I came from, Sims-wise. I started out mostly with World War II stuff, even after I got more modern Sims like Falcon 4 and F-22 and EF-2000. I still played mainly World War II. DCS is kind of the first real modern sim I've played since I was about high school age. So for about 10 years, I did play Lomac briefly back when that was a thing before DCS was born, but I didn't play it all that much because around then was the time I managed to break my stick. Launcher has stopped working. Well, that's handy. We're having a real good time with things crashing tonight. We'll try that again. Cliffs of Dover can be pretty finicky sometimes, unfortunately. And I don't think it likes the fact I've got OBS and the chatbot and Discord all open at once. Speaking of which, I might jump out of voice in Discord since no one's in there except me. I haven't really fine-tuned my control setup in this game either because I haven't played it much. So my flying will not be the greatest, but it will probably still be better than my flying in DCS. Has it saved our last mission? Probably not. It usually doesn't. Nope. Okay, so we'll click that. Country. Spitfire 1A, 100 octane fuel, and there we go. Please work this time. Okay, there we go. It seems to be working. Now, as I recall it, I think I use my left throttle for prop pitch and my right throttle. Actually, no. No, I don't. That's right. I use the fucking slider, which I use for view in DCS as my prop pitch. So I want to set that about like 2/3 of the way so I don't blow my engine early on. And I'll have my throttle set about 3/4, which is up against my afterburner detent, which is kind of useless in this game. Actually, no, I could rebind it so it's like a wet gate. What I need to do is the Ralphie Dude throttle modifications. I need to take the afterburner detent out and sand it down a bit so it's just a friction gate instead of one I have to actually pick up and lift over, because that's a really awkward action to do and my throttle isn't attached to the desk, it's just sitting there by weight. And if I'm a bit enthusiastic with my application of power, I can pick the whole thing up and basically throw it at my keyboard, which is not good for it, my keyboard, or me. Can you guys see the aircraft? Can you see my Spitfire? Or can you still see the loading screen? Because you should be able to see my Spit now.
One by one.
There we go. I had to move the throttle to get it to wake up. Loading screen? God damn it. Hang on. Let me just try this. Okay, I don't think that's going to work. Let me try this. Can you see it now? Is it working? You should be able to see the Spit cockpit. Unfortunately, because I only have one monitor, I can't monitor my OBS output while I'm streaming. So I can't see if it's working or not. Oh wow, we spawned right under those guys? Holy shit. Still can't see it? Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. So I think the way this works is I have to restart OBS to get it to actually pick up. I'm pretty sure that's how it's done. Because you have to get OBS to hook into the right window. And I really don't want to... I'm not going to have an option. I'm going to have to restart OBS. So bear with me. The stream's going to go out for like probably 30 seconds or so. And hopefully then it will work. Sorry, guys.